It is a fast-acting viral strain that infects the host immediately, and upon getting sick, the infected will become racked with coughs, sweat profusely, and start to get the shivers and chills.
There he is, the legend. The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah. You can't literally run a promotion just for the AEW, what do they call them, sickos?
Thank you very much, TikTok and AEW. See you tonight.
Tony Khan started telling people there's no such thing as long-term booking anymore. It's week to week.
Khan! We have just secured the bag.
It's not like I tried to be a character. It was just sort of happened naturally. But it was never something I intended. It was just something that happened because the wrestlers asked me to do things in matches, and I do them.
If you run a promotion just for the sickos, you're going to do 400,000 viewers eventually.
Mother effing melts.
Know that SmackDown actually went over and everything?
Yeah.
You know,
What's the point?
the point of SmackDown.
What are you getting at here?
That the DVRs didn't pick it up.
Did they not pick it up?
Mine didn't.
Let's get into everybody's favorite moment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
What would you like to listen to in your ears?
I'd like to hear the flute.
Well, if you'd like to flaunt your flute, then we can find you a flautist.
We have just secured the bag.
It doesn't help me.
Okay, so complain, but
I will complain.
Let me have my misery!
And when I heard that, I was like, what?
Thank you, fuck you, bye, boom.
You got to run a promotion for everybody. The sickos can be the ones that buy tickets first and spend the most money on the merchandise.
Because we have just secured the bag.
But, you got to promote for everybody. Then you'll have a lot of viewers.
I think we proved a lot of so-called experts. We made them look like idiots. We're not going anywhere. Tony Khan's not going anywhere.
You'll also be there on TNT. You'll be in 2 places at once. You'll be around my favorite movie. Time God. So great, Pittsburgh.
It's not like I tried to be a character. It sort of happened naturally.
the best guys, Tony Khan.
To keep themselves safe.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another eclectic edition of PWT Saturday Night. Yeah. I am your host, Phil S. Marks, and you, Marks, are, of course, a part of the PWT universe.
You are a
Welcome.
naive, brainless, pathetic, idiotic, clueless, dumbass Mark.
So, guys, on tonight's show, we have more CM Punk drama, even more of it than we had earlier this week. And we are also going to talk about AEW Collision Summer Blockbuster, which I guess is 2.5 hours, which I've had on since it started. I didn't realize it was 2.5 hours. Okay. We're going to talk about the Michael movie because I just watched it. No, I'm joking. We're going to talk about weird movie, kind of a weird movie. Not going to lie. We're going to talk about the fallout from SmackDown and the fall off being the wig of Jade Cargill. But holy shit, Plenty in Pixel Art comes in with a 10. New phone, who dis? My goodness.
Acknowledge me.
And then he comes in and gifts 5 pro wrestle clips memberships. My God, everybody. Round of applause for Quinn. Huge support. With the big super chat and the gifted 5 pro wrestle clips.
He had that Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
My good God almighty king, he broke him in half.
Or, the young superstar, babyface, that former heel thing. So
I appreciate that very much. Huge supports. Everybody acknowledge
Acknowledge me.
Plenian, dude. And that's the way you can support the show, or check out patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. Those are my plugs. Appreciate it. What's chat up to? Love you, bro. I know I haven't been around, but it's not from lack of one. No, dude, it's all good. We talk like all the time. Old man goes on vacation, internet freaks out. Exactly. Plin with the huge support. Now, guys, I'm looking for, apparently StreamYard said that when someone gives memberships, you can see who they are on my end. I don't see it anywhere, so I apologize. Shout out the people who received those. I thought that was like a new feature or something, I swear. But I guess not. So just thank Plinian if you got one of those, and make sure you tune into Member Mondays, guys. I also do member shows. Memberships are 99 cents, and they're weekly. And this Monday, I'm actually getting some dental work done, so it won't be Monday. I'll do it Tuesday more than likely. Okay, so let's get into this stuff here. Okay, we have stuff to get to this evening, this fantastic evening. How's everybody Saturday going? I did watch Plin. Did you watch Michael? Who watched Michael? Who watched that movie, Michael? So I checked it out, and Michael is kind of like the Tupac movie, where they sort of just go through Michael Jackson's Wikipedia. It's pretty much all they do. Whereas, like, if you take Straight Outta Compton, or you take the movie Notorious, in Notorious, it starts and Biggie Smalls' mom finds the fucking plate of mashed potatoes. They ain't no damn mashed potatoes, right? Because he was slanging. And then it shows like he was changing out of the clothes he was going to school in. He was switching into a fucking chain and some fly shit on his way to class. And then you saw how people interacted with him in his day-to-day life. Michael Jackson, the Michael movie, it's like not really that. It's just kind of like this happened, then Thriller came out, and you're like, whoa, wait. It's like a bunch of shit we're skipping over. And some of his siblings ain't even in it. But that being said, the acting is tremendous. Michael Jackson's nephew plays him, and he plays Michael tremendously. The acting is great. And the filmmaking is really good. But the way it ends, you're just like, okay. And there's rumors that they're making a sequel, okay, to Michael. So I don't know if that's going to be a horror film or what. I don't know if that's going to be a fucking a horror movie. I don't know if it can be scarier than the Thriller scene. No. It's a cool movie. And like the raw vocals that they use from Michael, obviously, that's like raw recordings from Michael Jackson and stuff when he was a kid and shit. And obviously up until he was an adult, like that's all fantastic. It's cool to hear the songs and shit, but it just didn't really add anything that you didn't know. In fact, if you know anything about Michael Jackson, you know way more than what the movie even let on. And it's just curious. And then I just watched that doc on Netflix too. So I was really hopeful that it wouldn't ruin Michael for me, and it didn't. Like, it's by all means a perfectly okay movie, but it's just, I don't know, it's missing what like Notorious or Straight Outta Compton had, Anyways, let's get into some pro wrestling. So if you guys are watching Collision, the Rascals won a match, and then like Kenny won his match that they're hyping up. Oh, bad dude Tito. He just won it. Like, I turned the show on, I think 5 minutes late, and he was already cutting a promo. And so now Myron Reed returned, who's been a guest on PWT, and he is wrestling Kevin Knight right now. And the crowd is fucking dead silent. And this is a 2.5 hour show for some reason. And it's called Summer Blockbuster because it's going out of business. So go. Okay, let's get into some actual news. Okay, we are going to start with my all-time favorite segment, and it is called Ratings Wars. The aliens are coming. They're here. So let's start with NXT, and we'll just work our way around here and feel our way like a blind man in an orgy. I was gonna have to feel my way out of this one. What's that from again? I think Naked Gun, Leslie Nielsen. Anyways, so Raj Giri posts this. NXT ratings rebounded from last week's record low 18 to 49 number. However, the audience remained under 600K for the fourth week in a row. NXT averaged sorry, I muted myself there, guys. So NXT ratings here. We're going to start with these. I don't know if you guys heard me say any of the stuff I was saying, but basically the point is they did 556K. We're not going to fucking cope about playoffs. We are not going to say, oh, the Nielsen shit changed, blah, blah, blah. The same shit I say all the time. We're not going to cope. But NXT was down 20% in total viewers, 53% down in the key demo. So that's definitely an L on their part. Fuck if playoffs are on or whatever. But the reason we started this segment, Ratings Wars, this is what I was saying, is to compare this shit 1-to-1. So it's not like we're not trying to lower one to raise another, whatever the fuck. But AEW Dynamite ain't doing so hot either in the ratings department this last week. Again, there's a lot of shit on. I don't know if I think AEW was against the playoffs as well. But I think wrestling overall, like I think Dynamite, if we're going to sit there, and I said this last show, if we're going to sit there and be like SmackDown's so bad and shit, then I don't know, man. Dynamite and Collision, what are they doing? Wouldn't that be like people look at, oh, SmackDown's doing, let's say 9,000 people or 8,000 people, and they're doing just above 1 million, and motherfuckers are acting like the wheels are falling off. So the same thing would apply to AEW. And again, we are going to directly fucking compare ratings in this. But I give NXT's rating an L. Okay? It's no good. Give it a try. So we move along here. And so Dynamite last Wednesday, okay, because we're comparing 638. So that's okay, but again, it's not above 7. It's not some big bump after what people were saying was the greatest fucking pay-per-view of all time in AEW history. It's just falling back into a lull of more of the same. Mercedes is back. That's awesome. But they need to capitalize on it. They got to do something with it. You got to start telling stories and shit. And Forbidden Door really isn't feeling... I mean, you know what we had to start Collision? Summer Blockbuster? Kenny called out Zack Sabre Jr.
Exactly, no pop.
Zack Sabre Jr. So I'm giving it a trombone flop. We move along here. As expected, Dynamite numbers took a hit on Wednesday night. It averaged 638K viewers, down 9% from the last week. Shout out Raj Giri, down 27%. Dynamite was tied with Hannity for third. who cares about all that stuff? It was down. It's an L. It's not above 700K. So we're going to jump around. We'll do TNA after. WWE Raw numbers for June 1st aired in the morning from Turin, Italy. They were screwy, according to Roger Geary. The audience was the lowest in show history on Netflix for episodes where we have numbers. There were 7 episodes we didn't get numbers for because it didn't crack the global top 10. However, the hours viewed were the second highest this year, which doesn't really make sense. According to Netflix data, Raw averaged 2 million viewers, down 20%, with 6.2 million hours viewed, up 35%. No, it does make sense. This is why. Because whatever the fuck they're saying, you don't know. And shout out Raj. She does good work, but nobody really knows the totality of... Because here's the thing. If they were going to fuck with the numbers and try and do some slick shit to be like, they're not as bad as they are, they would do that every week that the hours viewed were up, but the overall was down, or vice versa. They could just easily play that game because they could just make anything up. Really, it's Netflix. So we're just taking it at face value. The thing is to me, this indicates that a bunch of people replay viewed it, and you're just not getting the total replay numbers. And I know that sounds redacted, but let's go to school with Professor Phil. No, but like, let's say even on YouTube, you do a live stream, you don't really know how many people watched it. You got to give that shit like 12 hours, and then you have even let's say a YouTuber gets a lot of views. Like, let's say you're a YouTuber, you drop a video and you get like 1,000 views a minute or something like that. Your view count, like if I go search your video up, if I was looking at their YouTube studio, the views would be like way more than what you or I would see just like seeing it in our algorithm. Okay, and I can attest to that. So Netflix for sure has some shit like that. And I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe they could give you a more accurate number later, but that's why they really release them earlier or something. Who fucking knows? But either way, this is screwy. I guess that's a good word for Raj. Is this an L? I mean, 2 million viewers down 20%, but 6.2 million hours viewed, up 35%. So either they're lying and shit. I don't know. I'll ring the bell on this one. Because there's a bunch of hours extra viewed, so it was a dope show. People were replaying a bunch, I guess. I don't know. And then for the 7 episodes that didn't crack the global top 10 in Canada, every single one of Raw has been a top 10. There's never been a week I'm willing to bet on it, because it's always ranked. All the WWE shows are always ranked in the top 10 whenever I turn on my goddamn Netflix. So we move along here. More ratings talk. Collision on TNT, June 6th. A week ago, did 496K viewers, 0.08 in the key demo. So again, the AEW audience is kind of whittling down. There's about 200,000 floaters. We've been sort of stuck at this number, and there's maybe in the tens of thousands watching on Max and shit. I'm willing to give them that. And if you want to give them their socials and stuff like that, then I don't know. Maybe 1 million people might see one thing that happened on Collision if they're lucky. I give it a trombone. Well, for Collision, I mean, goddamn, they were doing worse ratings at one point. But I'm still going to give it a trombone flop. Because Tone books like important shit on Collision, and they try and brag and go like, oh, well, you got to watch Collision, you got to watch the show, and Dave's like, well, the numbers are higher with Collision, so okay, we just got to compare it to like what, SmackDown? I don't fucking know. Speaking of SmackDown, despite tough competition from Game 2 of the NBA Finals last Friday night, I didn't mute myself. Okay, good. It's like I muted myself again, like a dumbass. It was only down slightly in total from the prior week. So SmackDown, that is. It was up in the 18-49. It beat everything on television other than the NBA in primetime in the 18-49 demo. SmackDown averaged 1.089 million viewers, down 1% with a 0.24. I mean, overall, the SmackDown ratings are a fucking L. But like this week, if we're going to isolate this fucking week, I guess we'll ring the bell on it because it didn't fall off a cliff or do any wonky shit. Nothing screwy really happened. So yeah, should I ring the bell? I'm kind of torn. I don't know if I want to ring the bell or give that a trombone. Because overall, like, come on, man. SmackDown don't even do 2 million no more. It's crazy.
Exactly, no pop.
SmackDown was there was a lot of boring shit. It was one of the worst crowds of all time. We'll have to talk about that in a little bit. I guess I'll ring the bell for maintaining a rating. I don't know if that's really fucking, I don't know. Let your boy Phil know. I don't fucking know. Without NBA competition, AEW Collision on Saturday garnered its best audience since Grand Slam Australia in February. So 496K, which I already gave it a flop, but it was up 48% from the prior week. Damn, I'm actually reversing that, and I will give that a bell ring. Right? Because we can't look at all time. I can't be like, well, even if you look at all time, wasn't Collision doing like 300K at one point as well? I think it went as low as into the 100,000s. So I will reverse that. I will ring a bell for Collision, I guess. If they're jumping up that much whenever there's not a playoff game on or whatever the fuck. It was tied number 2 with Family Guy reruns. That's the problem, though. Family Guy reruns are fucking tying it or beating it. That's kooky. So, again, NXT this last week saw a small dip in the audience, 548,000, down 1%. Key Demo was up 29%. I guess we'll ring a bell for that. I don't know. Everyone's doing okay, I guess, with playoffs on. Now we're coping with playoffs. And yeah, dude, Naraku's doing the damn thing. They had this contest, Shiloh Hills becoming a character. This guy just is flat out like rips off Hunter Hearst Helmsley is basically his gimmick. He like admits it. I'm pretty sure he said that. He's like, 20 years have passed. It's long enough. You can fucking just jack that shit. Or Jean-Paul Levesque, maybe a mix of both. And Dynamite, though, this last one, it took a big hit against Game 4 of the NBA Finals, scored its lowest audience since Nielsen changed their ratings. And, of course, Dave Meltzer was like, well, Brian, he wrote a paragraph about how, well, it did really solid against a monster playoff game.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
It's like, why wouldn't you say that if WWE had the same situation? They'd be like, man, it's past its peak. This is a fucking horrible fall off. But Dynamite averaged 542, down 15%, man, per Dave Meltzer, down 27% in the .08. With the .08, pardon me, in the key demo. So the audience was the lowest since January 12th, since Nielsen changed the methodology, whatever. Yeah, so this is a huge, big-time L. Now, I understand that the playoffs have been fucking ramped up and everyone's been excited, but, like, when you book this type of fucking show, when you build the Shane Taylor-Moxley match on Collision, then pay it off on Dynamite, you're going to do Collision numbers. Like, I just don't get what Tone is expecting here. I just don't understand what they don't understand about this. You can't just bring Swerve back when he hasn't been doing shit. They do 1,200 people in Mox's hometown. They parade him out, and it's like, oh, Mox, he's returned, Cincinnati's son. He should be fired, dude. He should be fired after he held the belt for a year and you fucking show up in Cincinnati and there's 1,200 people. Okay? I mean, again, just Orange Cassidy and shit. Like, I'm sorry. The best thing they did was did what iFantasy Phil Mark booked, and when they announced Maya Worlds replacing Suri, which there's some controversy surrounding that, and fucking Brian Alvarez and Dave are gonna talk about that I think in AEW news, or Brian is. But basically, again, Tone is just cooked doing wonky shit that WWE, if they did that, Dave would be giving that shit disgusting promotional tactics and stuff. We'll talk about that later because I guess Sari was actually able to wrestle. And Tone like milked it until he did his backstage thing and then last minute switched the card subject to change. They kept promoting it even though everyone knew she was injured. We'll talk about that later. But the best thing they did was gave Maya World the win in this tournament. And I say they should just fucking push her. Why push Maya World? I don't know, because you got to do something different. And maybe it just, people just get behind her and are like, holy fuck. And you get a Kofi Mania on your hands or so. I don't know. Right? You got to just do something different. Do something crazy. Do something crazy, as Asher Roth would say, right? You got to just like push her. Just have her win the tournament and fucking get a title shot, win the belt. Fuck it. Everyone's like, holy shit, who is she? Fuck it. She either sinks or swims, you know? It can't hurt you anymore. Maybe you get a fucking star. Maybe it explodes and a bunch of people start tuning in. I don't fucking know. You got to try something different. So I'm glad that Tone gave her the win, but I bet she'll just like make it to the semifinals, then lose. Monet will tap her out or something. But yeah, I don't want to go over this old shitty card that nobody watched, right? But 542K viewers, it's whittling down and it's getting closer to the regular Collision numbers. So this is a ginormous trombone flop. And Maya's on TV right now cutting a heartfelt promo. That flop wasn't for her. But we'll move along here. I think her promos could use a little work, but hey, I'm going to uplift her right now and hopefully they catch some fire with something. So speaking of catching fire, that is something that TNA has been incapable of doing quickly. TNA, they were way up in the key demo with a 0.03, and they were up 16% at a 226K viewers, but they've been down recently. So I will ring the bell for this, but we need, I mean, Sosa came back. It's on Sosa, dude. Bang, bang, Sosa. It's on him. He's clearly a draw. Push him to the moon. Make him world champ. Okay? So he's the reason why. He's the reason why they did a fucking rating. Now the attendances. So here we go. Dynamite at this was in Cincinnati, Ohio, at the Andrew J. Brady Music Center. The total number of seats on map are 1,800. Now, with the little stage they have and shit, okay, you still do 1,500. But their setup, quote unquote, was 1,266. They sold out, quote unquote, the 1,266. Mox can't even draw 1,500 people in his own home fucking town. And people want to say the best pay-per-view, the worst match on the greatest pay-per-view of all time was O'Reilly versus Moxley, and it was still an awesome match.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
They go to Cincinnati, nothing. Mox, we covered it too, this whole run as champion on PWT Live. Go back, that was a crazy era, that was a crazy arc, the Moxley arc, dude, of PWT. And we broke down how he lost them month by month, like 100,000 fucking viewers for a minute there. And the attendances were the shits. The only time he drew anything was when he fought Joe in that cage. They did like 4,000 people at a Dynamite randomly. And it was like, well, yeah, you got Joe versus Mox in a fucking cage. And that's because Joe had to come back and draw for Mox. He go to Cincinnati and do 1,200 people was like a joke, I was saying. Okay, they go to Cincinnati. He draws 1,200 people as a reality. It's fucking crazy. He should be fired. I'm not, and that's not even me being like an asshole. He has millions of dollars. I don't feel bad for him. He has millions of dollars. I do not feel bad. If the person paying him millions after years of giving him millions is like, you can't even draw. You draw 1,200 people in your hometown, and you had our world title for a year. The fuck is going on? I think Darby drew more than that with MJF in Seattle or whatever. I'm not even joking either. This isn't even being exaggerative for entertainment purposes. This is like for real, dude. So that's just abysmal. It's terrible. And Monday Night Raw, they're set up for 11,300 and they're at 10,400. Just to compare, this is Raw that's coming up here. Yeah, so that'll be on Monday. And they're going to sell out pretty much. The number of seats on the map are 11,777. So they're going to do that, and they're likely going to surpass the last time they were there. So again, when Dave's like, they're past their peak, it's like, what the fuck are we talking about? And Dave wants everyone to believe that the same amount of people watch Dynamite, if you factor in streaming, than watch Raw and shit like this. He's tried to peddle that this year already. And it's fucking cooked. And I don't mean to make this about a fucking just felting Dave Meltzer. It's not even Dave Meltzer dumb moment of the week. It's not even Thursday time cop. Jesus Christ. But it's like for real. We gotta. This whole shit is collapsing. Okay. This whole shit is collapsing, and so is Dave. And the reason it's on my mind is because like yesterday, just some hilarity ensued, and it's like I don't even know if I can wait until fucking Thursday to unleash on fucking Dave. We might have to just do a segment or something. Because you can tell he's crumbling. His whole fucking narrative's been crumbling. And I'm not like happy about this. I want AEW to be successful and shit. You guys already know. I don't have to qualify it every time. That I don't want to sound like a fucking hater, okay? I'm watching AEW right now, and I'm not hate watching it, you know? And I was putting over Maya World and fucking Athena rules and shit. I ain't trying to hate, but it's just like, how the fuck is it comparable when you have 1,200 people in a place and Mox is on the card and this Raw is doing in Baltimore the number it's doing? Now, SmackDown, again, they did like 9,000 people. So when people are like, oh, it's not that, they're not doing as good. I don't buy into any of that. But also, I will say this, the crowd was one of the worst in Providence. They were in Providence, right? Rhode Island? Last night on SmackDown, one of the worst crowds maybe ever for a wrestling show. So focusing here on tickets and whatnot. SummerSlam Saturday, August 1st, 26, Minneapolis, Minnesota. I was the governor. The setups for 29,500. They've distributed 23,900. So 24,000, 30,000 and 24,000 already distributed. They're going to sell this bitch out for sure. Total number of seats on map, 72,000. So the last time they were there was night one, or the last night one of a SummerSlam did 50,000. So is that a dip for SummerSlam? I believe it is. Not as many fucking people interested in it this year, for sure. But I mean, we're never gonna knock 2 nights of 30,000 people in a fucking building. That's madness. And then night 2, 58,000. That was not for SummerSlam, is it? Is that the last time? So yeah, they have 24,000 sold for night 2 as well. Here, I just want to look up what was the attendances for WWE SummerSlam night 1 and night 2. Wow, they were really night 2 brought 60,000. Or no, what year was this? Here, let's just specify here, but I think this is 2025. Yeah, 60,500 for night 2. Holy fuck. SummerSlam like cut in half. Now, what are the prices comparatively? Are they like way more expensive? Because damn, they can't be happy with that being a fucking trend. But also it's 30,000 people. But if last year they had more people in one night than they have both nights, that's like, whoa. Should fucking make sure you figure that out, you know? Pretty pretty kooky. I don't know. Like, yeah, WWE, like, people are so upset about it, but as if it's the worst shit ever. And it's just not that. It's not the worst shit ever. It isn't the best shit ever either. So we're like in this mid kind of lull all around. It's really all wrestling right now. I don't know. I get excited for MLW Fusion, but people are acting like it is the worst shit ever, and it's really fucking not. Maybe if you want to argue that fucking, yeah, what are the dogs doing here? They're coming out with, okay, they were just talking shit at the camera, coming out with the shillelagh. Maybe if you want to argue like subjectively, yeah, this, I just can't stand this horse shit, or you want to say like, yeah, the Danhausen shit isn't for me. I totally get that, you know, the same way like Orange Cassidy's just not for me. I'm sorry. But here, and I hate to go off on AEW, but I'm watching it intently here tonight. And here's the problem too. Forbidden Door. We just signed the dogs. They're with AEW officially, but at Forbidden Door, because they're former Nuge guys, they're going to fight fucking Edge and Christian and stuff. And it just reminds you how bad all Forbidden Door is. It's not even Forbidden Door anymore. It's just Tone booking ex Nuge guys. And it just reminds you how badly he gutted their roster and left them worse for wear. And nothing about it is Forbidden Door at all. It's like they want you to pretend that these guys are still from New Japan or something. They just treat the audience so stupidly. Anyways, yeah, that's fucked for SummerSlam. SummerSlam, get your shit together. So speaking of getting your shit together, Paramount accuses Netflix of trying to block $111 billion Warner Bros. Discovery deal. Okay? And this thing, again, went to the DOJ, the grand jury, the fucking grand poobah. You know, it went up all the way to the tippy top. And they decided that this deal can go down, is what's happening. And Niccolo Piccolo called this shit 80 million miles away, so shout him out for that. But they were just saying Netflix's panic level response and scorched earth campaign to try and poison regulators and other stakeholders against the transaction shows just how seriously Netflix takes Paramount as a scaled competitor. Paramount's content strategy aligns directly with the Teamsters' interests. More films and series in production means more call sheets, more location days, more transportation, casting, and catering work. This is all fucking cope. It's all cope. It doesn't matter where Paramount fucking goes, because no matter, or pardon me, WBD goes, because no matter where it goes, it's either Netflix monopolizing more, or Disney monopolizing more, or fucking CBS monopolize. Like, it's no matter what, it's like three companies are going to own everything. Okay? It's just that simple. Get used to it. It's all compartmentalized enough too, to where not everything will be watered down as much as you think by saying that. And healthy competition, it might not mean there's two big dogs and some little dogs, and it might not mean monopolization entirely. It might mean there's three big dogs or four big dogs and then a bunch of other little dogs or whatever. That might be the healthiest form of competition. Who fucking knows? In pro wrestling, we're always like, oh, well, we need AEW so that it's like 1 versus 1 with WWE. It's like, nah, I don't know. I think it's better if there's 3 or 4 companies doing really well. Or if there's 2 companies. I don't know. I'm not mad at the whole, like, if WWE scooped up TNA, I wouldn't even be mad at that at all. They fucking should do it. Honestly. They just should at this point. But it doesn't really matter where it goes. Like, Netflix is just jelly. I don't think they're ready for this jelly, right? They're just jelly that Paramount's getting it and beat them out. There's peanut butter and jelly. That's all. So we move along, and as expected, as Roger Geary says here, the Justice Department approved the acquisition of WBD by Paramount Skydance per CNBC. So it is a done deal, and Tony Khan could not be more excited. And of course, the dirt sheets have to drop stories about Punk could go back to AEW.
Sometimes in life, you gotta be a hoe.
He's going out of his way to like mend bridges because this fake story came out. So let's just lie and make it seem like it's just so desperate. You could smell the desperation miles away for so long. Again, Niccolo Piccolo was so spot on. Like, he broke down all of this shit so precisely. Okay. And you guys know I interviewed the man. I don't just softball the motherfucker. I'm not just sitting here trying to glaze the guy. There's been things I disagree with, and I'm just like, I don't fucking, you know, or like, the guy's been 100% right on all of this. There's one thing you got to say. He knows his shit when it comes to all this TV stuff. Okay. He knows his shit. He understands the landscape. It's his fucking job to be forward thinking that way. And I mean, the dude like was reposting his tweets from like 2025, late 2025, where he, you know, he fucking so laid it all out step by step. And down to like fucking, he knew Netflix would try and block and all this shit. Okay. Like everything down to a T. So I'm willing to bet. I'm just saying. Okay. Don't be shocked if it's to be MyAEW YouTube for a while. And if he was right about Tone being ready to make that play, which might be the smart play for him right now. Just lean into the internet and the invisible numbers. Let Dave lie about how good it is and just keep running these shows, taking the hit. Tone doesn't care. Tone doesn't care. His dad's going to make $8 billion every year for the rest of his life. You know, people are like, well, it's his daddy's money. Yeah, but his dad will give him $1 billion of his 8 every fucking year. You know what I mean? It hurts him none. It'll continue. Now, whether they can fill the buildings, they're going to have to get creative with marketing. And another thing that Niccolo Piccolo pointed out, which I wanted to talk to him about, I should invite him back on PWT for real, because I wanted to talk to him about this, because I was talking about it on PWT and he was saying something similar. And I was saying this before, and I was like, fuck, I should have asked him about this, but AEW is going to have to find their own ads and shit as well. Like, you won't have the luxury of WBD being like, hey, we're going to cross promote with Superman. Like, Tone's going to have to really use his connections. And I mean, he used his NFL connections. What did he get? Cheap fucking lucha masks and shit. Cheap White Castle Happy Meal lucha masks. And yeah, they got titles, but he does the deal. He licensed with the NFL, not the other way around. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. Like, what other money comes in? How does the advertising work? How does he figure out new, unique ways to market? Because, like, again, the cope was always, and especially with Dave Meltzer, he'd always talk about WWE markets better. It's their marketing. It's the promotion machine. They promote better. AEW does no marketing in comparison to WWE, no promotion comparison, you know, and Tone just relies on like, okay, when there's WrestleMania in town, we're going to put up fucking flyers for AEW everywhere in the airports or whatever. And flyers, I'm talking like their kids hanging posters for their band, you know, but it's kind of like that vibe, you know, okay, we'll just like photobomb our fucking posters up, man, wherever all these people are coming in and out of this airport to watch WrestleMania, and we'll just put dynamite fucking video boards up and shit. That's all, you know, and then he would run commercials during SmackDown and stuff like that. I don't know if he does much of that anymore. So he's going to have to get creative with marketing, and he's going to have to pull connections, but the connections we've seen him pull haven't really, like Pro Wrestle Tees hasn't paid off. And yeah, he had the Jazzware figs, but then those went away. So what's he going to really do? And then he doesn't have like, oh, the Minecraft movie's going to co-promote and things like that. And if he does lock shit like that down, then okay, you know, good for him. Then he is pulling connections. He has deeper connects than we thought, you know, and he's able to fucking get people involved more than we thought. But so far, we haven't seen that, and they're on TV. So we'll see what happens with all of that. But Tone says he's excited. Mick Foley's fucking being complicit in his
Sometimes
silence.
in life, you gotta be a hoe.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was ratings was. Okay, guys, and that was the intro to PWT. How about a round of applause for the intro of the show? So, guys, hit like if you're watching. Come say hi in chat. Hit subscribe. Patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. Make sure you check that shit out. And become a member, 99 cents. I do bonus shows. So let's get into the next set of news. Where do we want to go from here? Let's get into miscellaneous stuff, okay? Oh yeah, I wanted to check up on one thing quickly before we do that. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the show, Chris Jericho. She's a good girl. Ba-da-ba. Oh, sorry, guys. We're back. We're back from those messages. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for bad news time. It is time for miscellaneous news as the Bucks are... I'm just watching this Bucks match. They're going crazy. Dave's having a fit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
So, CMLL had a historic moment here, a historic and deeply emotional moment. Greco, unmasked. It was Richard Grieco. What is that? The Emilio Estevez, the Mighty Duck guy. And I was like, Emilio! So Greco unmasked himself on CMLL Informa to announce the end of his stage as a professional wrestler. After years of dedication in the ring, he begins a new chapter as a referee. So doing the reverse Jessica Carr.
De algo tan querido, de algo que sigo aquí en la Arena México, sigo encantado de la vida, pero hoy nos despojamos de la máscara. Híjole, se siente fuerte, se siente duro, pero terminamos un ciclo como luchadores.
Undertaker was like, who's that guy?
Tu primera playera, esa misma playera que estrenarás este sábado en Perú 77, la Arena Coliseo.
Sábado en Perú 77 nos vamos a ver, entonces pues vamos a darle un buen inicio a esta etapa. Esta es la nueva carrera del gobernador y pues vamos a tener...
Hell yeah, CMLL doing the damn thing. So speaking of other feds, man, New Japan. It's revealed, according to Kotaholic, why they decided to sell New Japan, why Bushiroad did. So the reason for Bushiroad's sale of Nuge has been revealed. It was announced in May that Bushiroad would be transferring their majority stake in New Japan to TV Asahi and Cyber Agent, with Nuge set to become a consolidated subsidiary of TV Asahi, when the deal is completed June 30. Cyber Agent and TV Asahi are scheduled to each own 46.3% of Nuge, with the price of the sale being 3.597 billion yen, or approximately $22.535 million. They already own 22% of Nuge. Bushiroad has been the owner since 2012. Bushiroad felt they had reached the limits of how much profit they could make from New Japan, so they had been considering selling it since around last year. That's when around February they approached the upper management of TV Asahi, which has been broadcasting New Japan matches for many years. Weekly Gendai wrote. They felt limited with owning New Japan on their own, which resulted in the company bringing in Cyber Agent as part of the deal. So, TV Asahi are longtime partners of Nuge, while Cyber Agent is an entertainment conglomerate that co-owns Abema, ABEMA, streaming, and with TV Asahi. Meanwhile, they are the owners of Pro Wrestling Noah. Cyber Agent is DDT Pro Wrestling, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, and Ganbare Pro Wrestling. Holy fuck. Ganbare Pro Wrestling. I don't know what the fuck that is. I want to look that up. Ganbare Pro Wrestling. Gunbear Pro Wrestling. Got to learn the language. I think I'm turning Japanese. It's a sister promotion of DDT Pro. Is that just because of ownership? Founded in 2013. This is what I mean. I've never even heard of this shit. Ganbare Puroresu. Abbreviated as Gan Pro. Damn. Yeah, I don't recognize like any of the guys. No, I don't recognize any names. Yeah, okay. So they're doing the damn thing. I'm just looking. I'm like, what is WWE gonna buy? You know, they gotta buy something. They gotta AAA it up. Maybe it's just Noah, or they gotta buy into Nuge with these guys and go like split it 3 ways or something. Who fucking knows? But I just want to see New Japan logos and WWE shit and see AAA Nuge crossover. But there's also the CMLL relationship there with New Japan and shit. So I think that complicates things further as well. And I don't think we'll see like NJPW WWE crossover anytime soon, but I think it will happen like in our lifetimes, like sooner than, for people who say never, it'll happen sooner than that. That's for goddamn sure. Anyways, though, before we get off the weeds in the with the Japanese wrestling stuff, which is what we're seeing here, man. This Bucks Dogs match has just been going. Like, they're just hitting moves. The crowd's like, whatever. We were more lit before. Okay, they got a pin over the Bucks. So good on the Bucks, and the Bucks are in really great shape, and good on them for fucking putting over the Dogs. Okay. Anyways, let's move along here. So speaking of like New Japan and stuff, John Laurinaitis claimed he pushed for WWE to sign Kenta Kobashi, but it never worked out. Kenta Kobashi, that's what I kept pushing for, but it just didn't work out. I think Kobashi could have adapted to the WWE and American style. I know that he can come in and be very good heel. His work rate speaks for itself. And that's courtesy of Signed by Superstars. And that was obviously back in the day, and I don't know why you're trying to fucking get clout interviewing Laurinaitis. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here, dude. So, speaking of indie feds and other big feds working their way up, making their way downtown, walking fast, Tony Khan's got all the cash. MLW Fusion is going down, and they introduced the new title tonight, the Southern Legacy of Pro Wrestling, to honor the Southern Legacy of Pro Wrestling, and it is called the Southern Crown.
This just in from our home office in Charleston, South Carolina. Major League Wrestling is introducing a brand new championship, the MLW Southern Crown. From Memphis to the Carolinas, the roots of this sport run deep in the Americas.
I mean, I just don't. It's the Southern title. It's fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I'm all about it. I know back in the territory days, I'm all about it back in the day. And in the territory days, you would have like a region. So you'd be like, oh, that's the Northwest heavyweight champ and this shit. I don't know, man. I don't know about all that. I think if you do weight classes and continents and intercontinental and things like that, or even a national championship or just like a United States heavyweight title, I think that's more the move. Because the Southern title is like, what does that really fucking mean? What does that mean? Only guys from fucking Southern USA can challenge for. I know it doesn't mean that, so that's why it's pointless to even do that, but I'm not knocking it entirely.
South. Rowdy Southern fried action that shaped the swagger and attitude of modern wrestling. Now, MLW honors that legacy with a crown of its own. And the inaugural champion will be decided the only way that makes sense, in a bunkhouse stampede. Atlanta hosts the historic fight. More on the Southern Crown Championship in the weeks ahead.
I mean, it's a cool looking belt, whatever. So more on it in the weeks ahead. And then you're locked in. You're like, hell yeah, next week I want to learn about this title a little bit, not just hear it like a video package announcement of what it is, explaining to the audience at home. And then all of a sudden Ricochet's just winning it in a fucking 30-man gauntlet for the title or whatever. Jesus Christ, milk these things, draw it out. It's all supposed to be story-based. Speaking of story-based, let's take a look at MLW's Twitter right now, because I don't know what the results of the main event is thus far. Let's check in here. I'm going to go to their YouTube page. Gonna go to their YouTube page. So yeah, also they did this thing where Cruel, I guess, and Contra like got rid of, let's see. So Hammerstone was ejected. Yeah, so Caesar Duran was like eliminated by Contra or something, and they're like, what does this mean for the future of MLW, which is cool. Which is awesome. And then we'll just head over here to their YouTube and
grab the hand. You're gonna fight the hands. Reach up. Stop him from locking that hand behind your head. Oh, these men are motivated.
See who won here. Riddle versus Cross, big title match.
Intestinal fortitude that can't be measured. Cross gets a shoulder up, but just barely. And Cross rises from the dead again. Cross jacket cinched in. Oh, Riddle.
Yeah, this is the here.
His arms are caught. He's nowhere to go.
And then Hammerstone gets involved.
What is Hammerstone doing? He's not supposed to be here. He's not supposed to be here.
And like great heat, great crowd, great identity. Like it has its own identity, man. It looks nice. And Hammerstone comes out. 3 guys where you're like, okay, they should be fighting for your heavyweight championship. Like, good shit. Match gets thrown out. There's got to be another one between Cross and Riddle now.
And Hammerstone attacks the champion.
Now Hammerstone and Cross are going at it, so they're gonna have, I don't know. Fusion's heating up, man. Turn it up. Bound, chink down. Turn it up. Scotty too hottie. StreamYard's glitching out here. Give me just a moment, and we will continue along here in miscellaneous news. So, in other, I guess, indie wrestling news, JBL wrestled his first real match in over 17 years last night, teaming with Kentuckian indie legend and Tulsa King star Cash Flow. And Cash Flow is that dude. He was on the Netflix The Wrestlers OVW documentary show.
What are you doing out here? Get back in the ring. Now Cash Flow and JBL working over Cash Daniel off the ropes. Oh!
And this is OVW, their 1400th episode, I think. And that's a weird number. They had like all these people who used to wrestle in OVW send in like video messages, including John Cena being like, oh, we're so happy to see you last fucking 1400 episodes or whatever. And it's like, what a weird number, you know, not 1500, not fucking it's just this weird 1400 episodes. Such a weird.
How much more can
every 100 after 1,000 you just go every 100 you celebrate?
Man,
like,
take. Meanwhile, Dustin Jackson sitting out here on the Dern ramp, watching his tag team partner. Ah! Clothesline from hell! Clothesline from hell! One, two, it's over. It's over. Nobody gets up.
Oh yeah, JBL was good and blown up there, dude. So some people showed up out of nowhere in indie feds. One of which was Steve Macklin, who asked for his release from TNA, and people are like, it'll be NXT, and even I was like, I bet it'll be ROH. But I also said, I bet he'd do some indie dates, and then he'll just be with his wife in ROH type shit. If Tone will have him, you know, he won't go back to NXT or WWE or whatever. But he showed up here, and Revolver Manser, whatever the fuck this was, Pro Wrestle Revolver, he got beat by Joe Alonzo.
Finds himself caught in the crosshairs. That's it.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good, I'm sure.
Macklin's got this one. It's just a matter of going for that KIA, but wait a minute. The algorithm once again.
Yeah, get him. Oh, no. Oh, what? Oh.
Of course, Bryn Oakley
That guy just falls over the top rope like a dumbass.
and Crash both still to come in action later tonight. Low blow from Alonzo. He's going to steal it. He's going to steal it. No.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Sorry,
your
not
winner of the
sorry.
match, Joe
That was fair and square, guys.
Alonzo.
Not only did he kick him in the dick, he also held the ropes.
I didn't see any of
That ref is a fucking dumbass, is what I would say if you were just allowed to swear and stuff. Ugh. So, speaking of people who asked to leave or didn't ask to leave, Kaylee Ray corrected the record on her last interview. Now, she says things were misconstrued. I don't believe they were. It's just what she said and how she made it sound. And I listened to the clip and read the transcript my goddamn self, and it read to me like she was saying she didn't have the 90-day because other people got fired. She even said that herself, whereas other people got released. I don't have the 90-day because I let my shit expire or whatever. So here's what she's now claiming happened. Alba Fire, a.k.a. Kaylee Ray. She says, I think in the last interview I did, maybe the words were a little bit misconstrued. I had been thinking for a while if I wanted to re-sign with WWE or not. I'd been with WWE for a long time, so I at least wanted to give them the courtesy of having that conversation. I knew my contract was up in, I think it was 3 weeks by the time I spoke to them, maybe 4. It was at Mania. So I was like, look, I know we're really, really busy right now. I'm not asking to have that conversation now, but can we have that possibly soon? And then unfortunately, I got the phone call the next week saying that they didn't want to be offering me anything. On that, I was like, cool. This was the decision I was already heading towards anyway. So she tried to make it sound like she was going to not re-sign. And then it turned into, now she's saying that they didn't want to re-sign her, but she was going to not re-sign anyways. So it's like, well, which is it? Okay. Like, fuck's sakes. Now you're just jumbling up the story. Just admit that they canned you. I know it kind of sucks to be like, yeah, they actually didn't want to fucking hire me. But she's like, well, whatever. I wasn't going to re-sign anyways. Okay. Then just say this part the first time. But she just goes, cool, this is the decision I was doing. It wasn't a surprise to me again. It's kind of like pattern recognition. So, again, she didn't have her 90-day because they weren't going to renew her. They didn't renew her. I don't know. She just confused everybody with that shit. Stick to a story, toots. Speaking about sticking to a story, reality television, more than anything, knows how to stick to the script. I don't fucking know. Former WWE Diva Search contestant Carmela de Cesare Garcia is officially a Real Housewife of Orange County for season 20. Do you guys remember her? Carmela de Garcia, WWE. De Cesare, WWE. De Cesare. I wonder. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, and she was okay, and all right. I definitely do remember her. So she's much older now, and we're ageist here at PWT, but the original Carmella in WWE, God damn it.
Vicky, I'm Carmella. Carmella, she's funny and she's quirky. Do I have a straw? I'll give you a blowjob later. Mom, I am so sorry.
Crazy that people watch Real Housewives or whatever. So who's she married to?
That was a joke, and she's sexy. She was a Playboy.
Like still, to this day, like 20 fucking years of this show.
Playmate of the year. What's her name? Carmella. Carmella DeVille.
Carmen's a bitch.
Carmella's a bitch.
I don't like new girls.
But you're new too this year.
I started this franchise.
It's just like a bunch of drunk fucking hags with no jobs arguing with each other while their husbands are at work slaving away and while their wives humiliate them on
poor people don't like AEW.
Jesus Christ.
Thing has an expiration. Oh, Vicky, I'm Carmella.
It's like no. Greg Giraldo at the Joan Rivers roast is one of the funniest crash outs ever on these type of women. But I don't know, man. People enjoy these shows. They've been on for fucking ever, so I don't know what to tell you. I ain't mad at it. It ain't for me. It ain't my cup of tea, but it is what it is. Speaking of not being your cup of tea, friend of the show, Matt Morgan, and I believe this is his YouTube channel. I'm not sure, but he trashed the shit out of Jeff Lane, both friends of the show. Jeff Lane, friend of the show as well. Okay. And these two were going at it on YouTube here. So Matt Morgan posted this. Jeff, literally nobody on planet Earth gives a flying you-know-what about JCW. Stop the cap. Also, small advice from the peanut gallery, Jeff. Straighten your hat brim, dude. You're rocking the hat crooked like you are back in 07. You look like an absolute moron and sound even worse. Is that really Matt Morgan? I don't know if he would just like come at someone so viciously, but also like people get mad as fuck at that James Romero dude and that and Jeff Lane. Okay. So Lex, is that?
I don't know
either, bud, but either way, Jeff Lane goes, sorry, bro, just trying to help you out. Figured back in 07, you could reminisce about the last time anyone cared about you. Boom, roasted. It's a roast. Damn, so these guys going at it is what it is. I don't know what to say about this. Both friends of the show. I like both these guys, and they're just both twisting titties a little bit here. It's a work, brother. Speaking of work, everybody wants Jim Johnston to come back to work in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. And he told Giga Chad Chris Van Vliet, he said, I felt a great responsibility. Like part of these guys' careers and success. Successes were in my hand. The music now in WWE and in AEW, I'm sorry if this is mean. It's all really homogenous and really... That's sexist. No. Homogenous? That's homophobic. No. Homogenous and really mediocre, and it doesn't have anything to do with the characters, and I think that's why there are less big stars. He's right. I don't think there are no potential big stars on the roster hiding there. Before Steve Austin was Steve Austin, he was the ringmaster, and there are lots of stories like that. These people need the right storyline, the right costuming, and definitely the right music to lift them up. Now, my pal, JJ Alexander, is like, he gets mad that everyone sings with the themes and shit these days. He's like, well, they're just training them to do it. It's not that. It's that with the age of the internet, people all over have adopted that more, because that's like a European thing. You fucking sing. You sing throughout the match. You sing throughout the soccer match. You sing to the fucking singing along with the White Stripes. Da, 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 da. That was already a thing. Like that was in other sports and stuff like that. And it's just with the age of internet, people see that and crowds do that stuff more. That's my opinion. Like you don't even have to be like, if you took someone, like imagine if Billy Gunn came out, I'm an ass man, bow, bow, I'm an ass man, everyone would sing it today. They just didn't really do that back then. They just kind of popped and cheered. Okay? And there is a first for everything. It's like when Andrew Dice Clay, I was the first comic, I'm over him now, where they recite my jokes back to me. He was the first comic you go and like pay to see him do shit like a song. Like you paid to hear shit you knew already that you could chant along with. In pro wrestling, it's kind of like that now where people sing along with the shit. It was less common back then. And you can see that like Shawn Michaels has come out and they've sang his theme to him recently, like the fans and stuff. So I just think that's, if you took fucking the way the fans in Italy were singing along with Brock's music, duh, 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 duh. I'm telling you, if fucking Kane came out, oh, the flame return, I bet you the whole crowd would be singing that with him nowadays. So I don't know if that's a negative. I just think that back in the day, it was more like cheesy catchphrases. Now you have some people who do catchphrases and shit, obviously, like, but they're more simplified, like, yeah, yeet, that sort of stuff. You are cursed. Like, it's kind of silly shit, even though, The Rock would hit you with the, if you smell what The Rock is cooking. And there are people who, with everybody saying LA Knight, like he's got 4 of them. I get there are some people who still do that, but I think that's less prominent. And yeah, it's like people sing with themes and stuff. With that being said, if Jim Johnston were to work with whoever's making the themes now, they'd perhaps be more iconic. There's a lot of generic vanilla. And I think, and I could be wrong, did Fatal Influence or Fatal Attraction, whatever that team's, I forget, JC Jane and them, did they change their theme too on the main roster? And I just realized on SmackDown, and I just didn't realize before. Like, I think their themes changed too. And it's like, what the fuck? Why are we changing everybody's themes when they get to the main roster? It doesn't even make sense. Make them some iconic shit, and then remix it from there. So shout out Jim Johnston. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was miscellaneous news.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
And chat's feeling me. I can see you guys feeling me with the theme thing, right? So like Randy Orton, the people never used to sing, I hear voices, they talk to me, they understand, they talk to me. They were never singing it along before. Now they do that because it's what fans do. It's like a new thing. So it's not like, oh, they're teaching fans to fucking do the, and even if they are, who cares? You're supposed to teach fans. You're supposed to coach people, even the listeners. I go live on Wednesdays and Saturdays, guys. because there is a level. It's not brainwashing and all of this fucking, people try and cope over it in weird ways. It's just fandom's different and people have seen other crowds. Okay? And when people in America are able to see the European crowds and the way they act, they're going to start acting that way more, and vice versa. And here's the thing, dude, you see Japanese crowds getting rowdier now too. And like chants get started now too and shit, where it's like, that's not even really a thing they did, but the internet's made everything available to everyone. So it's just a change in time. And if Billy Gunn showed up, came out at the fucking UK tour, they'd be going, I'm an Osman. They'd be singing it. If Kane came out and the flame returns, I'd be fucking singing my heart out to it. And so would the crowd, I guarantee it. And the fact they were going, duh, 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 duh. Brock's had the same theme forever, And even back then, you had Kurt Angle, you suck. You suck. I'm pretty sure that was Toronto as well that did it the first time. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure they're the ones that are credited with like doing that the first time. But whoever figured that out, you suck, with the music, it's too perfect. And that's always been a thing. It's just more prominent now. That's the way I feel. And that's what I think of you. That's what I say. Go. So yeah. Shout you guys out for understanding what I mean by that. So let's get into what do we got next? We got TNA news, guys. And so Persephone gets the dub. Persephone gets the dub. Persephone gets the dub. I'm going to put a poll in the chat here because I want to know. Have you ever seen AEW Collision Summer Blockbuster? So everybody, I'm going to put a poll up on the screen, and if you're just listening or you're just hanging out, are you watching AEW Collision Summer Blockbuster tonight? Put a 1 in the chat if yes. Put a 2 in the chat if no. If you're on Kick, YouTube, X, wherever you are, go in the chat. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Are you watching AEW Collision Summer Blockbuster tonight? I'm genuinely curious, and so is Chris Jericho while you guys get your votes in.
I look and see it's not just me. So many others have stood where I stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. They call us problem child. We spent our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. Let me get wild. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, I want to get into this segment. Aces and eights in chat for TNA. So TNA dropped this little promo for Slammiversary. Let's take a look. And people figured out immediately who it was based on his gear. I mean, it is amazing red. People have pretty much determined that based on the gear, and that's awesome. Good for him. I don't know. This is very TNA-ish to kind of bring someone back who was once there, and I don't know if people are going to get excited for it, but he can still go and he can have bangers. And he retired once, and then he came back, and then fucking he started getting booked and got a ton of new hype. And shout out Amazing Red. He's one of the dudes that like got me into ROH like way early on. But Nick Nemeth called his shot, and it's going to be Nemeth versus Santana for the TNA World Title at Slammiversary.
Now it'll be Santana.
So that's a big match. I mean, you kind of sensed it was going to be that. Nemeth is that dude. So let me know, guys, is this some bullshit? Should TNA get away from doing stuff like this? Rosemary has an Ash by Elegance doll, and they pull its hair, they bite. You can pull my hair and bite me everywhere. So they pull the doll's hair, they bite it, and do all this shit.
I mean, it's had way less work done than that. Oh, stop it. Oh, wait a Bray Wyatt, I can't believe we're saying this. Is there some voodoo at play? She's making her do. What is this? What is this magic? Wait a minute, Mara Sade is making Ash do Mara's dance. Oh, Allie's got the case biting the doll.
So you know what I mean? She's selling her ass off. It is what it is. I don't know, man. I just don't know if that's the way to be going. And according to Fightful, TNA is set to reveal some updated contract news and signings over the next few weeks, a source in the company claimed. So according to Fightful, I guess TNA is going to be like, we signed some people, we fucking release some people. I don't know if it's a good look for TNA to be losing people like Santana and fucking Slater, and then you're bringing in Amazing Red, and then you've lost some of the people that kind of were really prevalent before the TV deal and stuff. So I don't mean to be doom and gloom towards TNA, but they need to make something happen fast, or it's just going to become LOL TNA again. I'm not even joking. And I was super hyped on TNA. And I want to be again, but like that doll shit, if they were doing that on Collision, I'd be making fun of it. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was TNA News. Ken Dudley for 2 sweets, says Phil. You see that Josh Hoke at MMA weigh in, LOL? Yeah, so guys, if you guys are MMA fans and you want to hear me talk about MMA, I did do the first episode of Combat Sport Times podcast with none other than Chris Connor, and we previewed UFC Freedom 250, which takes place tomorrow from the Southern White House lawn. And over on Pro Wrestle Times, I uploaded the first episode. And so I did see the weigh-in. Or yes, I did see the weigh-in. I didn't see the ceremonial weigh-ins, though. I'm going to watch that like when I'm done doing this live stream. But I did see like the actual weigh-in where Josh Hokett pretended to. So basically, for those of you who don't know, Josh Hokett, an American fighter, he does like a pro wrestling gimmick where he's basically like pretending to be a cholo kind of. He's like, hey, Holmes type shit. Or he's like, I'm going to chama your mama. Or maybe he's not trying to be a cholo, but that's what it comes across like. I don't know how else to explain it. And he's trolling everybody. He's doing like a character. And he was pretending he was drunk and threw up on the scale this morning. And then last night at the face-offs, he was pretending he was scared of Derek Lewis and stuff. He's just a kooky, wacky guy. And go and check out Combat Sport Times if you guys want to hear me babble about MMA and boxing and whatnot. And I'll do a review of that, like a reaction show after with Chris Connor as well next week. And talk about some other news and stuff. You guys are into MMA and boxing. So I do up next want to get into WWE and AEW news. We got to get into AEW news here. And I don't think Tone went live today. I did check earlier, and he was not live. And I don't think he jumped live tonight. No, he didn't. He didn't at all, Tom. It's one of my favorite parts. But yeah, I'm excited, guys. Tomorrow I'm going to be watching Freedom 250. It's going to rule ass. It's going to be a fucking amazing show. I think all the matchups are tailor-made for like big finishes. You know, that's really what the UFC was going for. Wrestling Chico, PWT for life, Chico. Tapuria is going to murder Gaethje. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't think it'll be as easy as a fight. You see the size difference between them when they face off too? That's crazy. But Tapuria just has like that power he can summon from the gods. Like I just don't understand how he just generates power the way he does. And also Gaethje's like his jiu-jitsu's not the best, you know, and Tapuria is a fucking master. He's a wizard on the ground. People forget, man, as Joe Rogan would say, that Tapuria is like, they don't want to go to the ground with him, so they're all forced to strike with him, and then he somehow has the fucking power of Mjolnir in his fucking in his right and left hand, you know? So it's insane. I don't know. I'm excited. Josh Hokett. I gave my predictions. Go and check out my prediction show, but all the matchups are good. It's the red corner is everyone who Dana White wants to win night, and the matchups are all favored towards them to get W's. So let's get into some more pro wrestling though, okay? We need to get into some AEW news, guys. As Speedball gets power bombed all over the fucking arena. Just need some coffee. Okay, so guys, Ichi Nissan. Because it's time for AEW news.
Best guys, Tony Khan.
So this went down in ROH, and a bunch of people responded to my tweet. They were like, "What, are you gay, bro?" Like, pretty much that's what it was. What, are you gay? And it's like, no, I just fucking, what you're saying, it doesn't mean I don't like titties shaking around. I'm just, my criticism's fair though. And it's not even a criticism. It's just me pointing out an objective reality. So there was this spot where the girls were all like shaking their titties at each other.
I've been known to do that as well.
Right? And so, I mean, I love it. That's the Iconics and Harley Cameron and Mina Shirakawa. They're all just titty shaking at each other. And so I just made this statement. If you went back 10 or 20 years and showed ROH fans what ROH has become, they'd want whoever's responsible's head on a stake. Just facts. Okay? I didn't say anything about liking titty shaking. I didn't say anything about not liking titty shaking. I didn't say... I always say they need to bring more sexy back in pro wrestling, but what I'm saying is factual reality, okay? They would want whoever fucking did this to be banished to the Shadow Realm, all right? It's really that simple. Wrestling Chico for two, sweet! Says, can't wait for Lucha tonight. PWT for life, Chico. Is AAA on YouTube as well? Holy fuck, there's so much wrestling on, buds. How many minutes there, Chico, until that shit's on? Is it like 4 minutes? We gotta pull this shit up and screen it? Yeah, because it's a 2.5 hour collision, not a 3 hour, not a 2 hour. 2.5 hour for some reason. And if Tone does a fucking overrun, this may have been taped too. So why is it 2.5? Like, I have no idea. Right? AEW is like just the placeholder. We'll just put this show on whenever we need some shit on somewhere. So it was never destined to last. Thank you so much for your support, your super chat, guys. Super chat in, or check out patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times, or hit like or share, whatever the fuck. Okay, appreciate you guys. And get your votes in. Are you watching AEW Collision Summer Blockbuster tonight? 1 for yes, 2 for no, wherever you're watching. 1 for yes, 2 for no. We move along. So Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland has been confirmed as the final of the Men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament. The winner will earn an AEW World Championship match in the main event of AEW All In. Ospreay's obviously going to win. It's going to be him versus Omega. It was obviously going to be Ospreay versus Swerve. Nothing about this is Forbidden Door at all, other than Will Ospreay did work in New Japan at one point, and that's all the matches are. Forbidden Door means nothing. So again, Tone actually did have a cool concept, and it means absolutely nothing. It means nothing at all. Nothing at all. As Ned Flanders would say, nothing at all. Right? It could mean, hey, one of these WWE guys, hey, we're not going to hire you full time, but you're going to show up and do a one-off here at Forbidden Door. And it's like the Forbidden Door opened, and then, you know, Mystico, come fucking, you know, we partner with CMLL. But then when you're bragging about the partnerships all the time, and when we see all the titles on your shows all the fucking time, nobody gives a fuck that it's a crossover Forbidden Door anything. So again, a perfect concept handed to Tone on a silver platter. He's willing to work with people when other people aren't. And he starts beefs with fucking TNA and hates on WWE instead of going, look, we're not ever going to take shots at them. We have this Forbidden Door concept. Let's try and work with them. Let's try and get fucking Gargano or one of these like mid-lower guys on our show and do a fucking one-off, and we'll just tell them we're like a super indie. Could have leaned into all of that. That's how you're the true alternative. But instead you fuck around and we're the challenger. And then you just do super indie shit anyways, and then the Forbidden Door becomes just AEW matches. Oh, great. Good work, Tone. Fucking awesome, dude. Really glad. Really glad that's how you handled this. Right? So, speaking, this is and that's in AEW news first before we get into the juice. The juice! The news is out. Limitless Wrestling is coming to MyAEW. So, again, another American indie fed, Limitless Wrestling out of Portland, and they are partnering with MyAEW. So why is Tone doing this? Well, because this show will truly become the super indie. He's going to listen to Phil S. Marks 7 years too late, and Tone is going to bolster the viewership. Like, you wouldn't put these American indies on there unless you were going to roll this shit out in America and in Canada and stuff. If you wanted people to watch like every week, or even just like for past content, like Tone might even start by going, you can watch it here for past content and stuff. And then they'll just announce, and every week now Dynamite's on there and our PLEs are on there, pay-per-views or whatever. That might just happen in those steps as well. But you wouldn't put like Limitless Wrestling from Maine and like 1FW QT Marshall's fucking fed. You wouldn't do that unless you were trying to just get like the, 1,000 fans, maybe, if that, the 500 fans of QT Marshall's fed. Like, you just are trying to sign up as many people and get as much content as you fucking can onto this app to try and so that they all promote it. So now when these indie feds do their shows, they're promoting MyAEW. There's a MyAEW banner. Go sign up, watch us weekly on here. We're actually on TV now. You can watch us weekly on there and our YouTube channel, whatever the fuck. And then Tone is just slowly becoming like IWTV, but for people who will kiss his balls. And I'm not even saying this is a bad thing. It's actually a good strategy, but imagine if Tone was promoting some of these feds. So you know how Monet went and won 13 belts? Well, imagine if some of those feds, he was already talking about their title. And I've said this from day one. They should have a weekly YouTube show called AEW whatever the fuck, Elevation, AEW Dark, or again, or whatever you want to fucking call it, AEW Super Indies, whatever you want to call it. It should be a weekly show, or Collision or Rampage should have been this. A weekly show on YouTube, or even if they want to do it on TV, that's hosted out of the studio by Tony Schiavone and JR, or like Tony Schiavone and one of the fucking wrestlers, someone who can cut a promo, whatever, Harley Cameron and Tony Schiavone. And they host a show where they go, here's the matches from AEW superstars around the indies. Here's what went down last week. And then you recap what all your guys are doing around the indies. And then when MJF goes to Hog Wrestling and wrestles Zilla and shit, it actually kind of means something and is in the AEW universe. And then you're kind of teaching fans who might be a fan of like your Dynamite show on fucking network. You might, and then maybe they're following you on YouTube. Then you're teaching them more about HOG. And then when you decide to do this, Tone, and then you announce, oh, HOG Wrestling or Limitless Wrestling is now on MyAEW. People go, fuck, I can keep up with that shit. Isn't that where MJF wrestled Zilla or whatever? Like Monet had all these indie belts. You could have like promoted that, and Monet will defend one of these belts over here if he just got on this way sooner than he did. He should have been building this up the whole fucking time. He should have realized like TV ain't even the way to go. Okay, even Raw's on Netflix, right? So Tone was just doubling and tripling down on pay-per-views, which everyone was getting away from, even the UFC. People firmly believe Dana would never get away from pay-per-views. He fucking did. So pay-per-view and streaming, or pardon me, PLEs and streaming, just streaming in general, though, is the way to go. And Tone, like, is slowly being forced to do it when he should have just been ahead. He should have used TV this whole time to promote the inevitable streaming endeavor and his own network and how fans are like, we want a network. He could have been slowly putting that in motion this whole fucking time. And especially with all the money he's wasted, he might as well have done it, because now he's just taking on all of that cost. And Dave wants to pretend he's making all this money and shit. Well, it's all gone next year, Dave, because he's got to find his own advertising. He's got to fucking, I'm sure, like, what are these feds doing this for? Pay for exposure? Or is MyAEW going to run ads and then Tone gives them a cut of the ad revenue or something? Like, he's going to have to pay them or whatever. Maybe they're paying AEW, though. That'd be fucking super greasy if Tone was making the indie feds pay him. Oh, that would be greasy, buddy. But yeah, he should have just been all over this shit, like white on rice, like from the beginning. It should have been his low-key mastermind, and then he launches this fucking... And then he launches this streaming thing, and then also he should have been doing MyAEW with the Forbidden Door. It's not even my idea, it's just what the Forbidden Door is. He should have leaned into, well, we are the place where, you know, we might not be the biggest fucking wrestling federation in the world. We might not even be number 2, but what we are, we bring you the biggest matches outside of WWE, bar none. If you're, you know, they could have just leaned into it that way. And I'm not saying you got to bow down and kiss the ring, but if you were smart, you could have like almost used WWE's ass against themselves by like maybe getting one of their guys to cross over, a couple of their guys, and convincing them, hey, can we beat Gargano? Can our guy beat Gargano or something? You know, like I'm sure they would have been open to it, especially the direction. Trips was always open to working with TNA. He's the one who brought Joe in and all this stuff. Like he was trying to bring the Cowboy James Storm in. He was the guy trying to do the super indie thing in NXT first. So I think he'd have been open to all that, but it's just, I don't know. All the shots taken, I think, just backfired ultimately. And now Tone is like playing catch up. He should have already been doing this shit. We move along. Speaking of shit they should have already been doing. AEW should have rolled out some sort of program like NIL or More importantly, because their eyes and ears are all over the indies, they should have laid out something like a WWE ID program before WWE got to it as well. Again, forward thinking. They all just coped. A performance center, blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, they should have invested in it. Then maybe Kendall Gray would have been there and Dave could talk about how Tone should be paying her 10 times more. And he could have all of his dreams come true if they didn't scoff at the notion of a fucking performance center, which is a good idea. Right? Instead, their fan base and people in charge, they scoff at that shit. They spit at it. They treat you like you're a dumb fuck if you think that's what the direction they should go in. If they really think developing the future of pro wrestling is just putting people who aren't ready yet on TV in random fucking brawls backstage with Moxley and his Bumbaclot clan on Collision, then okay. You can do it that way, or you can ID an NIL and put programs in place, and Tone has all the money in the world, and he should already be on the forefront of this because he owns a fucking football team and always brags about it, and in NFL and Major League Sports. And again, they want to talk about this is like real wrestling, and we're going to pay them like real NBA level athletes, and we're going to blah, blah, blah. Okay, then where like the fucking Jaguars have a performance center, a place where they can go train and work out, and they fucking see a doctor, see a nutritionist, see a fucking all of that. Get meals cooked for them, I'm sure, things like that. But for wrestling, no, it's stupid, it's dumb. WWE does it, and it's cookie cutter, boring bullshit. And it's like, no, you're dumb. You should have been on top of this. Okay? And sources say that WWE ID'd wrestler Aaron Rourke is being pulled from Limitless Wrestling. Okay? And it's unrelated to Limitless Wrestling's relationship with MyAEW, is what Fightful's reporting. Now, I don't know about that, okay? And I don't know who Fightful's talking to or about here when they're just quoting like it's not related to this. Right? We don't know that for sure, but it's funny that this is the story that comes out. Like Tone is so fucking focused on having everyone think that he's willing to let anyone wrestle anywhere and blah, blah, blah. Now this comes out, you know, it's unrelated to Limitless being on MyAEW, but Aaron Rourke was pulled from the fucking show. But promoters were told by AEW that there are no restrictions on putting contracted talent from other promotions on their service. So instantly the dirt sheets come out and they have this fucking story and they have a direct line to AEW where, again, someone in AEW phones up Fightful, like nobody even knew fucking Aaron Rourke got pulled at all. But someone phones up Fightful to be like, well, it wasn't us. I mean, it wasn't us. To stooge to them about what's going on and to remind everyone AEW's down to work with anybody. WWE's not. It had nothing to do. No, he didn't get pulled because of us, but it could be pulled because of WWE. And again, it's just sicko fuel for the fucking IWC. Brings no new eyeballs doing this. And again, Fightful's got to just make this non-news that AEW just ran to them and like that's AEW like creating a story out of nothingness pretty much. Because if it had nothing to do with that, then why would AEW run to Fightful to be like, oh, please regurgitate these lines that we fucking tell you guys to repeat and say? It's fucking cringe, man. So in other news here, All Elite Wrestling is promoting Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day, which, by the way, fuck you, whoever makes the trailers. Okay, the trailers already... So the first trailers for Disclosure Day was them talking in the Indian language of the native language is what I mean. Sorry, I'm native. We call ourselves fucking Indians. So the indigenous language of these aliens, I guess they're like speaking. It's like they're like doing this throaty Mars attacks. It's not like nah, 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 nah. So it's not that, but it's like the aliens from maybe Signs, kind of. It's like a clicky grrr, like stuff where it sounds like people are choking and shit, and it's like this weird fucking alien dialect. And I remember I was listening to this shit And I was listening to this trailer like audibly while I was working on something on my computer, and the trailer came on. It was like fucking 3 a.m., dude. And this trailer came on like months and months ago for Disclosure Day. And they were talking in this like weird, you know, like it sounds like some like tribal alien shit. I don't even know how to explain it. And it freaked me the fuck out. I was like, I don't know what this is. Is this a horror movie? Is someone possessed? What the fuck is this? I have no clue. Scared the shit out of me. Audibly hearing this trailer. And then when I saw it the next time, like I actually visually saw it and I heard the sounds and I was like, oh my God, this is that trailer. I'm like, hun, that's the trailer like where I heard this shit that scared the fuck out. I thought it was like a possession movie or something. So I'm willing to give this movie a shot, but then I turn on one of the trailers recently and they're fucking flat out like showing you the aliens and shit, or like showing you animals morphing into aliens or something. I try and look away as quick as I can. I'm like, don't show me this. You're showing me way too much. It's Spielberg, bitch. You just got to go Spielberg aliens. I'm fucking sold. Whether it's good or bad, we'll see. But I'm just sitting there like, don't show me all of this, man. You're showing way too much of the movie and even the spooky dialect. Like you got to the spooky, like, I don't know what it is, aliens tapping in. It's called Disclosure Day. So here's the other thing too. Some people are conspiratorial and they're saying the movie's like a fucking psyop because they're releasing all of the alien stuff and they're like what is it called? Like pre-programming people's minds to like accept that they're gonna fucking the government's gonna show us aliens, man. I've seen shit like that. I don't know about all that. I see Spielberg and aliens and I'm like, I'm in, you know? So I don't know about all that shit. But they're showing too much in the goddamn trailers and somebody should be fucking like, if this movie doesn't draw, it's because you showed too much in the trailers. I'm telling you right now. So shout out this movie. Oh yeah, but the reason we're even talking about Disclosure Day is because AEW's Lance Hoyt, so that's Lance Archer, Brian Cage, and Don Callis of the Don Callis family are featured in Disclosure Day, and it premieres today at movie theaters across the U.S. I definitely want to see this, and it's like we deserve to know, right? So it's like. It is weird. It's weird timing for sure. But I'm definitely, there's so much wrestling action going on right now. You have the Bumbleclaw clan. They're in an Anarchy in the Arena after they already did an Anarchy in the Arena at Double or Nothing. So it's just fucking stupid. This show's fucking stupid. AEW's fucking stupid. Tony only knows how to book 3 things. And then we have some hot lucha action going on here. With La Parca and Octagon, who's okay. Octagon's okay. He's alive. He's fucking not paralyzed, thank God. Or the aliens, depending what you what you believe. I think aliens are for kids, dude. I don't believe that shit. I gotta be honest. I think the government's fucking with people. Or am I? Or do I? Or maybe I'm an alien. So speaking of lucha, or wait, I think I might have another one before we. Yeah. So let's talk about Kota Ibushi here. Dave Meltzer says, from what I understand, Kota Ibushi has not given up hope for a return, but it would not be anytime soon. Well, what's the fucking point, bud? What's the point? He's hopeful he can possibly come back. But it won't be anytime soon. Tone's paying this guy a bunch. He's talking about how his legs are falling off, keeps getting injured. Ibushi's washed, and it just goes to show you that 5-star style. Everybody who's ever been a 5-star merchant, they're cooked. And some people go, yeah, well, that's why they were 5 stars, because they put their bodies on the line, man. But it's like, no, because Hulk Hogan never got a slew of 5-star matches, and his body was cooked too, and he was the most over motherfucker because of character shit. So it's just like you're amplifying the risk for way less reward, unless you meet Tony Khan and he's a mark for you, because then he'll pay you millions. Like so many wrestlers are so lucky that they met Tone, and that Tone came along. So speaking of injuries, Isaiah Cassidy is banged up and hurt. His absence in AEW is not a case of him not being used because of Mark Quenn's injury, according to PWI. But let's be honest, PWI. Let's be honest. It was that a bunch of times. Mark Quinn not being there did keep Cassidy off. So what difference does it make? It makes no difference to me. He's not going to be on the show regardless. So don't even cope about it, you know? And it sucks he's banged up too. These guys need to get the fuck to NXT. Point blank. In other movie news, Harley Cameron reveals she was nearly cast in the lead role for the horror movie Obsession. Now, some people say she was trolling, and this was just her doing a bit. Cool if it is, cool if it isn't, because she does act, and she does ventriloquist. I don't know what the word would be. She does it. She's a ventriloquist, and she can sing and play guitar, and she can wrestle, and she's been in music videos and shit, and she definitely has acting ambitions. So she took to Instagram and uploaded her fake audition tape for the role of Nikki. Well, it doesn't say fake. I'm adding that word in there because she uploaded her audition tape. So she says, "Cat is out of the bag. I auditioned for Obsession and was told it was nearly me who got cast." Was this a joke? Let's see. No, it was like deleted. Whatever the post was. So maybe it was a joke and people took it seriously, and so she deleted it. But anyway, she wrote, "I wanted to share my passionate audition and thank Curry Barker for the opportunity. And of course, congratulations to Indy Navarrete. Apparently it came down to us two, and I'm honored." Maybe it was real. Who knows? Because Ringside News thinks it's a shoot. Even though she didn't land the part, Cameron seemed proud of the audition. And for now, Harley Cameron may not be Nikki in Obsession, but she clearly made a strong impression. And judging by the audition tape, so no, she really did drop an audition tape, or what? Harley Cameron Obsession audition tape, because yeah, it's okay, let's see. So let's see here if this is serious. Let's head to the sickoest place on earth, and it is called Reddit. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Holly Cameron. I'm 5'7", and I am auditioning for the role of Nikki.
It would be way too distracting. Her titties get too distracting, okay? And she knows that. That's why she shakes them in the ROH matches. Get that shit out of the way so then you can pay attention to the wrestling. I get it. It's actually great in-ring psychology. But at the same time, fucking
Obsession.
So let's see if this is a worker shoot.
Really have cancer?
No. No. No.
Yeah, so this has to be her trolling.
Don't you bloody do that? No, I thought we were having a nice bloody date, huh?
Yeah, this is clearly her trolling. So Ringside News for sure. Like, listen to how they wrote this. For now, Harley Cameron may not be Nikki, but she clearly made a strong impression. And judging by the audition tape, this probably won't be the last time fans see her name. What do you mean? You didn't even watch the audition tape, Ringside News? You didn't even watch it because she's clearly joking. Unless they're joking too, and we're just getting felted here at PWT. It's like, whoa.
No, back out. Thought we're having a nice date.
Oh my God, that's fucking funny. Shout out Harley Cameron. She rules. Everything she does, gold. Magnificent. So moving along here. Yeah, so we were going to talk about this. Grand Slam Mexico. Ticket sales. So listen to how the Observer does another infamous Dave Meltzer spin. Ticket sales for AEW Grand Slam Mexico are reportedly tracking well above AEW's 26 year-to-date average, even with the show still months away. Yeah, well, this year, AEW is doing 1,200 in 1,700 seaters in Moxley's fucking hometown. They're not doing good attendance at all. And some people cope. They're like, no, they're doing like over 3,000 per fucking show. No, there's just been a few that are like 4,000, a bunch of fucking 1,000 and 2,000. And it's been that way for years now. Okay? So year over year, and I'm not even trying to shit on Grand Slam Mexico, but it's like year over year, it's down everywhere that they've ever been. MJF tried to lie and be like, in every place we're in, it's up. We're up in ticket sales. Nope. And now the Observer spin is, oh, they're up in recent years, or in recent month to month, pardon me, for this year. Yeah, because their attendance everywhere is the shits. And so when they sell 5,000 tickets for this thing, it's way less than that last time or the time before, but it's way more than the average of what they're doing this year. And again, any real fucking true analyst would break it down that way, except for Dave Meltzer, because he's a fucking fraud and a phony, a big fat phony. So speaking of Dave Observer, we have a Tryin' Brian here, and he breaks down, again, he's just regurgitating PWT here. I know they're listening. But Brian starts questioning if AEW needs an authority figure on TV. And again, what I say goes. So this is what this show is. This is what PWT is. Ready? This is what it is. It's me talking and saying all of my ideas, and I'm super smart and I'm right about everything, and everyone else is very dumb and wrong about everything. Okay? That's what this show is, and you all love it, clearly. Now, with that out of the way, Brian Alvarez is listening in to PWT and now taking these really great ideas because I'm just trying to help. Hey, I've been trying to help Tone over here. Okay? Trying to help Trips, trying to help everybody. Even though I'm bitching, the ideas are cooking like they're in the kitchen. Boom. You're a poet and didn't know it. I'm over here now. That's what I said. So you need an authority figure. Okay, I'm fucking retarded. I'm sorry. You need an authority figure. You need Big Show to come out and be like, yeah, no one's running amok here anymore because I'll one-punch KO you and I'm repping Tone. You need Mick Foley to be the commissioner. You already ripped off so much WWE shit. Have them have like a makeshift fucking backstage boiler room, GM room or whatever. You need Jeff Jarrett could be that. That's played out though because TNA, I get it. But you need like you need some sort of authority figure. And when people hear that, they're like, nah, that's old WWE shit. No, you need someone who's calling the shots that even in kayfabe, the buck stops with them. Okay? You need that. You need that. It doesn't mean evil authority regime who fucking runs everything. It doesn't have to be that, but it can't be just what Tone's doing. And even Brian agrees.
Mark cuts a promo on MJF that he wants a title shot. MJF comes out and like they go back and forth for minutes on end. And then finally Mark goes, well, I already talked to Tony. Here's the match we're going to do.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why the f didn't you just say that? Like, why didn't you start the promo with that? Why did you instead, you know there's going to be this match. So why'd you come and go, hey, MJF, come out here. I want to talk about getting a title shot. And then MJF has to come out. And then MJF, they go back and it's like, this happens a lot.
It does. And it happens.
Booker of the fucking year. This happens a lot. Yeah, it's been happening for 7 years. And if WWE's in a lull, then what the fuck is this? We're looping on repeat here.
It's a lot with MJF.
Well, I think part of the reason it happens is because Tony apparently does not want to be an on-screen character. But I guess he also doesn't want someone else to pretend they're him as an on-screen character.
Exactly. That is egomaniacal. That's just as like egotistic and weird and strange as Vince McMahon letting everyone know I'm in power, pal, and walking out there and, to get a pop from the crowd when the fucking announcement of his lawsuit goes down or whatever. You guys remember when he did that? He comes out, gets a pop from like, that's just as egotistical and weird, just in a different way. That's still being in your own way and not making the right decision creatively in a different way. But people just aren't able, or the sickos at least, aren't able to like understand this or think that critically or be objective about these things to comprehend how it's just as equally weird and right.
There's no figurehead authority figure.
It's egotistical. It is. He doesn't want anyone to do it, but he doesn't want to do it. But he just wants to what? Make Instagram videos pretending that things that should be happening on the show involving him in his office, but he doesn't have them happen on the show. But he wants, it's fucked up and weird. And it would help the company if Tone did those videos in little chunks of him making or whatever, or showed Moxley storming into his office and demanding a fucking match. And if he doesn't want to do it, then you book someone else to do it. Put McFoley in there and have him be the fucking GM or whatever.
What would make sense is if like Mark challenged MJF. MJF comes out and says that ain't going to happen. You're not qualified for blah, blah, blah. And then the authority figure comes out and says, you know what, Max, it doesn't matter. I've signed this match and you announced the match.
Yeah, and Tone wants to come out like after the fucking events and be like, oh, was that great? Everybody chat pay-per-view. So he wants to do that and get all the adulation and the credit, but he doesn't want to accept that what he's taking credit for is subpar because of the fact he wants to be able to take the credit while not. He also doesn't want to be on TV. It's just very selfish, self-centered,
That's like a logical chain of events. But because Tony doesn't want to be an on-screen character, and he doesn't want to hire someone to be an on-screen character, instead we have this weird thing where they have a big argument back and forth about it, and then just announce it's happening anyway. So that's kind of weird.
And the other thing about it is they just want MJF to be on TV for a long time.
Sure.
So there's a lot of his segments.
Why don't they have Foley be Tony Khan?
Holy fuck. Well, how about I already said that.
Come on now, Eric.
Weeks ago. And now you're biting my shit because you guys are fucking hacks.
Ryan.
Right? And it's like, no shit. Why didn't they do it with Big Show all that time ago? The fuck are we doing? Since Excalibur is so shitty on commentary and he goes, oh, and Tony Khan just told me, because what happens is what he explained, but then it's even worse. They have Excalibur go, and I'm being told in the headset, Tony Khan made the match. Then they just have a graphic already made. It's garbage. Have Excalibur get off of commentary and play this masked fucking asshole and lean into the fact that it's all friends wrestling, and the Bucks are like, fuck, man, Excalibur, like, we got you the job, and he usurps power somehow. I don't know. Again, I'm shake it up a bit and have Excalibur be this asshole fucking authority figure somehow that nobody really likes, but he schmoozes up to Tone, and you lean into the fact that everybody already thinks that if you schmooze up to Tone the right way, you fucking, Like, it's stupid, man. It's so fucking dumb that they haven't done anything like this. There's so many characters they could have done this with already. Even William Regal could have become the GM of Dynamite.
It'd be perfect.
You don't have to, Tony.
He's done it before.
I mean, I don't know if it's an ego thing or whatever, but you don't have to convince us he's the owner. Just say Tony Khan assigned Mick Foley to make some decisions, and then Mick Foley can be on TV. He's a great promo.
Yeah, it's just that Tone's a fucking egotistical guy, but he's just nice to everyone and gives them millions of dollars, and so they just sit there and fucking let him do their.
It's great.
So we move along here, and speaking of letting talent do whatever the fuck they want, Darby Allin flipped off of, he did like a rope swing in Moab, whatever the fuck here. Let's take a look.
Ew! 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah! Ew! 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah! Ew!
So, like, this dude's wild. I mean, I don't know. If he worked for my wrestling company, I probably wouldn't let him do any type of shit like this. And yeah, Tone is just paying this dude millions to potentially get in a bungee jumping accident. I don't know if that's the smartest investment, but it is what it is. Here is Darby Allin making out with Bam Margera at a wrestling show. And it is Pride Month, folks.
From parts unknown, Darby Allin for the Paradise World Championship. From parts unknown, Darby
Let's see that one more time.
Allin for the Paradise World Championship.
So yeah, Darby's, flat out just making out with motherfuckers, And I wonder if that's why he has so much pent up aggression towards women, allegedly. So we move along here. And Chris Jericho imparts some good advice and then does one of the worst things ever that whoever was giving him advice on is a dumb fuck. And it's a big time boomer move, but it is what it is here. Chris Jericho gets asked what younger wrestlers misunderstand about getting over. Now, this is a tremendous piece of advice right here.
What's one thing young wrestlers misunderstand about getting over with the crowd?
Well, it's kind of what I just said, is you have to connect with the audience, and I'm not going to throw stones at the style of wrestling nowadays, because when I started, our style was the version of what's going on today, but just the peak of athleticism in 1991 was a moonsault. Right. And we were the first guys. I remember the first guys to do moonsault in Japan was myself and Lance Storm. Mm-hmm. Now it's a moonsault is the opening move, but that's fine. The athleticism grows, but the same.
Wait a minute.
Never changes.
When StreamYard
it's all
stops
about your personality,
crashing
and
out
about
on
your
me, I
character,
need to
about your
pause.
charisma.
Here, I'll bring it back a bit. Did Jericho just say he was him and Lance Storm were the first guys to do moonsaults in Japan?
The opening move, but that's fine. The athleticism moonsault in Japan was myself and Lance Storm. Mm-hmm. Now, I remember the first guys to do moonsault in Japan was myself and Lance Storm.
Hold on. Let's ask Grok to fact check that. Who were the first wrestlers to do moonsaults in Japan? There's no way it was him and Lance Storm. George Takano was the first documented wrestler. Keiji Muto, the Crush Gals, Hayabusa. And this is all in the fucking 80s. Hayabusa in the 90s. So Jericho in the 90s, him and Lance Storm went to Japan and were the first guys to do fucking moonsaults? Buddy. You
just made the list.
Fucking lie to us, Jericho.
Now it's a moonsault is the opening move, but that's fine. The athleticism grows, but the same principle for wrestling never changes. It's all about your personality and about your character, about your charisma, and connecting with the audience. You have to connect. If not, then you're just a couple guys out there doing high spots and not getting any reactions, because there's so much going on. No one's paying attention because nothing is special. There has to be a reason for what you're doing, a reason why the match is even happening. So it's up to all the guys and girls to figure that out for themselves. You have to find a character that's going to connect and be a little bit unique that people are going to remember.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. And then Jericho all of a sudden jumps onto an NFT grift. I'm not even joking. And it's like, dude, this is such out of touch. Like, first off, these are fucking, the NFT thing was the stupidest, dumbest, dumb thing ever. And now they have different names for it. But this Canopy Creative Studios LLC, they're doing these Kopi koalas. And if you go to their Twitter, I forget what they're called. He's going to tell you what the fuck they're called. They're the mints. These mints. We have mints we're offering, these koalas. And it might be for a good cause, but it's like, it's a fucking scam, buddy. All of this NFT shit is scams. Okay? And every celebrity jumped on this trend. And then this fucking trend died off. Now, here's where an NFT is like, okay. But again, is it even an NFT? Like, I think Kevin Smith made an NFT that was a movie. Right? So we like auction off this NFT, and the NFT is this movie that fucking Kilroy or whatever. That's kind of cool. You know, Wu-Tang, they make one album and then auction the one album off. And then that Martin Shkreli guy buys it, you know? And if it's out there, it's because he puts it out there and they sell the one album instead of try and sell a bunch of albums because music, that's fine. But like when you start seeing motherfuckers like Snoop Dogg and Eminem, they made a music video where it was animated and it was their NFT apes that they were selling. It's like, you guys are 50. How much fucking money do you guys need? You both have tens of millions of dollars. How much money are you trying to rob from like fucking suburban kids? You know, like who's buying this from you guys? And now Jericho's on this fucking koala. He's in the koala family in 2026 trying to do a mint and an NFT. It's like Jesus
mint
Christ.
For the Cocoa Peas coming out and the koalas and the
Cocoa
Jerichos.
Peas,
It's like,
sorry, I called it a Kopi. It's a fucking Cocoa Pea.
I want to be a part of this because I know it's going to be a big part of our future as a society. And when it does,
And that's always such a grift, eh? Oh, it's just such a righteous cause. Everyone's got a cause for a cause.
and you know, Undertaker has one, and John Cena has one, and John Moxley has one, and MJF has one. I want people to go, Jericho was the first. And we've got all the Jericho.
The first. Whoa.
So we don't really want these other guys. Maybe
John Cena won't do one of those because he's not a fucking dumbass.
they do, but
he doesn't want to get caught up in what CoffeeZilla would call a rug pull.
Let's talk about it. I'm really excited to launch this into community, not the community, and just to be a part of it and to know that.
What's community? Is it with a K? Right? Cocoa Pea Koala, right? And then they have the community with a K. It's called community, not the community, but like community. You know, this thing we're marketing right now together. Go fuck yourself.
Like I'm doing this for the right reasons, which is to be involved in something exciting.
It's for the right reasons that I invest in this fucking digital thing where people just put a bunch of money in and then they do a rug pull and then I make a bunch of money that I'm not liable for fucking paying back to anybody. And I can pull a Logan Paul allegedly and fucking you know, steal $2 million allegedly is what they say on the internet. In real life, this is the digital world, like Digimon, and still sell Pokemon cards for $16 million and stuff and not have to pay anyone back.
Allegedly,
right?
Forward thinking, and completely layman's terms, it's just really fucking cool. Like I really feel that, and I want to be a part of it, and I'm really excited about.
It's forward thinking. What are you gonna invest in GameStop next, there, buddy?
Dummy, yeah. About community being excited about it as well, and everyone getting involved in it, and having some fun with this mint for the.
So I don't know, dude. That, ladies and gentlemen, was AEW news. What a fun one tonight. Nothing too crazy, nothing too in-depth, but just some good old fun AEW news. Of course, the best
guys, Tony Khan.
Amazing stuff. We do have some WWE news, quite a bit to get into here with WWE news today. I am watching AAA. And we have Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana versus La Hiedra and DJZ. And they're doing work, man. Let's go. What's chat saying? Guys, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit heart or retweet or whatever if you're watching on X. I really appreciate that. Share the show around. And come say what's up. And make sure you become a member for 99 cents or gift a membership, or you can super chat in if you want to support. Check out patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. Those are my plugs. That guy interviewing Jericho has a cuck hairline and beard. Cuck with a K. Okay. Jinping says ni hao. When it does, Dave Meltzer 5-star coin. Why buy an NFT when you can right click and save as? Exactly. It's so cooked, man. It's so cooked. Pro Wrestle Grok. Anyone know what Big Show does for AEW? Nothing. Just get paid. They had Big Show for the GM of ROH 2 years ago for 3 weeks. Then Tony dropped it. Exactly. Spurs leading by 12. Okay, guys. So let's get into some WWE news. Oh yeah, the cake is cake in there in Mexico. It's WWE news time. So let's start with some roster stuff here. Brie Bella and Paige were very sad and bummed about not being able to perform in front of the European crowds. Let's take a listen.
Night SmackDown. I will tell you all, Paige and I were very sad not to wrestle in front of you in Spain or actually be out there. You know, we had a backstage, which was still really good. Fatal Influence. Those are some naughty girls, but you know,
very naughty.
We're going to have our, you know, we get them now. So we got a little taste of their medicine. They're going to get it right back. But I will say Paige and I were so sad not to be out in Italy.
Yeah. Well, those crowds are so amazing.
So amazing. I mean, they're not quiet for 1 second. Loud and just like they play into the stories. They're just so great. And, you know, I know we've talked about this before on the podcast, but it does something to the wrestlers. It
always
adds
when
to
you feed
their
off that
energy. Do you know what I mean? And so thank you, Spain. Thank you, Italy, for being outstanding crowds. And then the Friday, the SmackDown after, Paige and I thought we had a match, and then we didn't. And we were so sad. We were like, can we please walk out to the crowd and cut a promo and do all that? Which actually we originally were supposed to be out in the crowd and do this thing out in the arena. And last minute it got switched. We were
Okay, so enough of that. So several WWE stars have reportedly expressed interest in attending UFC Freedom 250 at the White House on June 14. In addition, several backstage WWE personnel are expected to be present throughout the weekend as well. And good, man. It's like a celebration of your country and stuff like that in America. I mean, this isn't something, you know, it doesn't mean you support what the fucking White House or the current administration is doing, or you're like backing up anyone because you take part in this. I mean, it's, you know, it's USA, dude. Go and fucking show up and show out. And no matter who the president is, it's like an honor if they take interest in whatever, like, you know, meeting the president. It's like a time-honored tradition for like the Super Bowl champions to go and meet the president and stuff like that. So whatever, you know. And Dana White said himself, as much as this may be political and he's buddies with Donald Trump for reasons that go beyond like maybe even what Dana White's true politics even are, Because let's face it, they're friends from like business shit in the past where Trump's had his back when UFC might have been fledgling and struggling to find venues and stuff like that back in the day. So it goes a little deeper than I think, like whatever, he's just going to have his back regardless what this motherfucker's doing. So, and Dana White said it. If Joe Biden was the fucking president, I'd go. And some of these WWE superstars have said the same thing. I don't give a fuck who the president is. This is a once in a lifetime, like, pro wrestling, and now MMA and TKOs being taken seriously where they get to meet the president, whereas that was reserved for like the fucking the 96 Bulls and shit, like Tom Brady and shit like that. You know what I mean? So here's the Miz. He's getting a USA
I think the fans are going to be behind him. He's a hometown boy, and these people out there, the 4,000 people that will be in that lawn, will be cheering for Justin and saying, USA! 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 To answer your question, who's going to smack?
So there you go, dude. Shout out the Miz, getting it popping. I'm super excited for that card, and I'm not going to lie. If you're like a fucking nerd like me, the White House thing looks like a Street Fighter level. Like, it just looks insane, and it's going to be insane, and hopefully the fights deliver. I think all the fights are really good matchups to, like, see exciting finishes. Like, I think a lot of the matchups are kind of lopsided. It's 7 fights. I implore you all to check it out. And they made Paramount Plus. I didn't bookmark this anywhere, but Paramount Plus is also the home of UFC pay-per-views now in Canada as well. So for a minute there, we still had to do pay-per-view the old-fashioned way. That lasted like a few months, and then now Paramount Plus, you go there. If you have Paramount Plus, you can watch the UFC. It's a round of applause. I mean, that's a boss move. So for the first time ever, Saturday night's main event is coming to Atlanta. Tickets are on sale now, and they're calling it Sunday night's main event, not Saturday night main event. And I think it's just a house show, if I'm not mistaken. And some people were saying that they should have called it Sunday Night Heat in Atlanta, and that's a way better name. But again, you have a bunch of these fucking guys who don't like, I'm sorry, TKO, they lick balls at like UFC vignette packages and shit. Well, no, like the packages are good, but that's the only way they promote. Like, they don't go outside of the box other than, and you can argue, well, the UFC White House thing is outside of the box. For sure, it is. So I give them points for that too. Like, I actually don't knock that. I like it. But with that being said, like, everything has been very vanilla and generic, and they just use the same clips over and fucking over, and they don't really make cool fight posters anymore, and they don't do anything that's overly exciting other than, I guess, like the Sphere and then again the White House card. So they're going to, like, I don't know, maybe if they do the Roman Coliseum next, like, it would be cool if they just keep doing like video game type shit. I guess maybe that kind of gets you, but the fight's got to deliver at the end of the day, and you got to have star power, and you got to have compelling matchups, and I think this White House card has all of that. So we move along here. And speaking of legends, El Grande Americano is auctioning off his mask from AAA Noche de los Grandes, and 100% of the proceeds will be donated to the Dr. Sonrisas Foundation, supporting children facing life-threatening health conditions. And his blood is soaked on there, and that would be amazing. That's going to go for a pretty penny. Conrad Thompson, I'm going to sell my ECW sign so I can purchase that mask. And then I'm going to buy the proceeds back and donate it to myself. Click down below and you can save money on proceeds that go to children. So LA Knight was on Giga Chad Chris Van Vliet show, and he says, well, let's listen to what he says.
No matter where I've gone, I've always felt underappreciated in the wrestling business. But I don't know. If Adam King...
Yeah, and people are like, woe is me. Some people are trying to support him. Some people are trying to clown on him. I do think that he's always just kind of been shy of like that world title run and what he could what he could achieve could be greater. But like, here's the thing though. He gets monster pops. He's involved in like hot fucking WWE and he's a part of it and he's in and around. He's like a mid-upper guy. And the problem is like on SmackDown, which we're going to talk about, his fucking promo, for instance, like he starts bumbling around and confusing guys and he's just trying to say too much. LA Knight's more effective when he keeps it short and sweet. And it's just that in ring and on the mic, he's starting to become known as like a fucking botch guy kind of. And I don't know. I think he went out there and wrestled his ass off on SmackDown. And he says he thinks he's been undervalued, but who should he be world champion over right now? Rhodes or Roman or Punk? I don't think so, man. And it is good to make new guys and whatnot, but we saw it when he won the US. He won the US. People stopped kind of caring. And you could put that on creative. Sure, I'll accept that, but that's just what happened. You know, and hopefully creative can get some new shit. So we move along. Speaking of creative, being creative and thinking of some new shit to do, Tiffany Stratton has been doing these streams here. Do I not have it clipped? Okay, I guess I don't. But Rhea Ripley has been appearing on a bunch of streams. Quick transition. And Tawny Sheehan. So Tiffany Stratton was playing basketball with Javon Evans at a trampoline park or something. So I don't have a bookmark. Fuck it. Tawny Sheehan, pro bikini world champion, takes a riptide from Rhea Ripley inside the ring. Let's take a look. And Ripley's been doing all these side missions with a few different streamers now.
I'm so scared.
Rhea, what are we doing?
Hopefully not dying. We're going to do a riptide today. We'll see how this goes. I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah.
I don't take this move, so I don't know. That was like super gross. Like I thought. But like just to make sure you're dying. It's like Twilight. Oh.
They're killing the business. They're ruining the fucking business. It's dead. It's over. The business is done. Lock him up. Lock Rhea Ripley up now. Illegal. Illegal. So, another thing creatively WWE has done is they have gotten Julia the fuck away from Kiana James. And again, I was right about fucking Dragunov. Okay?
Let's talk about it.
And I'm right about Julia.
Let's talk about it.
She never needed Kiana James to be there to fucking with a loaded purse to get her over as a killer and somebody serious. And she goes on Main Event, has this match with Jordynne Grace, and everybody was fucking raving about it. Of course, Jordynne Grace rules. And you have Kiana James, who's much better on her own. And in fact, man, if you had Kiana James with like Blake Monroe, even that would work better. Or Kiana James with Tiffy and Chelsea and Blake. That could be a whole faction right there of like mean girls, but like bossed up mean girls, Barbie/business mean girls or whatever, however you want to put it. That could totally work that way as well. Okay. I just think this is better. And I want to give points to WWE as well. On SmackDown, they sort of fixed something. And I don't know if this is a retcon or if this was their plan from the beginning, but Blake Monroe each week is writing in her diary, and she's writing about a new female she's going after. So this week she wrote about Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, and she's like, I'm coming for you guys, and I don't need friends, and blah, blah, blah. So the first one, now it is dumb that it's like Blake Monroe coming soon. We've already seen her on fucking TV backstage. It's like, all right, they're doing the Eva Marie here. But so she targeted Tiffy, and then everyone's like, fuck, man, are we really going to pair them up right away? I don't know if that's the way to go. And then this week she wrote about Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, so that's good stuff. But again, Phil Marks of PWT, I told you guys so again. All right, where's my fucking drop?
Just in from Phil Marks of PWT. He says, I told you so.
Get Julia the fuck away from Kiana James and it'll start clicking. And they were chanting, this is awesome. And they had a fucking banger. And everyone's like, oh, what a match. Why isn't this on SmackDown? People, like, even fucking marks, sickos and wackos. It's about the wrestling, man. I saw this one account where I couldn't believe it. I forget which one, but they were like, it was under 8-minute match. Like, it was a stopwatch mark, under 8-minute match, but it was great and shit. I was like, holy fuck, that's cool. Maybe I should have bookmarked it, but of course, we just make fun of sickos and wackos. We don't talk about them positively. No, I'm joking. So, in other, like, WWE news, because I want to clear things out before we get to some of the main stories here, and we're talking about SmackDown. I guess we'll just stick on the topic of SmackDown for now. Rhea Ripley, they announced on SmackDown that she suffered a knee injury in Italy last week and is currently being evaluated, so she might have to vacate that shit. And then maybe the Queen of the Ring finalists just fight for that shit, or maybe she's okay and they just give her a month. I mean, a bunch of people go like months without defending titles, so hopefully Rhea's okay. And she's there like fucking power bombing bikini models, so maybe they're kayfabing us. Maybe, again, it's an injury where she got hurt working out, and they're just like, well, it happened in Italy to, like, put more heat on the match and the storyline and the kayfabe. All of that aside, doesn't matter. It could result in a vacant title, so just keep an eye on that, and we'll see what happens. Speaking of seeing what's going to happen here, The Miz lost his mind and has a streak of, like, white in his hair, and he was shocked and is like a Frankenstein monster now. And he was shocked into oblivion last week. And so No DQ writes, The Miz has lost his mind after being electrocuted. Kit Wilson shows up and tells Danhausen to lift the curse, arguing that The Miz only knows how to speak in catchphrases. And Danhausen's like, I like The Miz this way. And so The Miz is like, hoorah! And he's like, awesome! And he's just saying his old catchphrases. And Danhausen was funny. He's like, oh, 2010s. Very nice, you know? And then Kit Wilson goes to hit Danhausen with like a pipe or something. And then Danhausen ducks it. And then Kit Wilson gets fucking electrocuted again into oblivion.
Master need to obliterate.
And now maybe Kit Wilson starts saying dumb shit. Who knows? Now this is over the top, very childish, very nice, very evil, but very like comedy, whatever. But it pops me. These guys deliver. Again, I like a little comedy in my wrestling too. It's a little much, though. If there's people who are like, this is fucking stupid and it makes them want to turn SmackDown off, I totally am not invalidating that either. I'm not sitting there going, I'm right, you're wrong. Like, to me, I'm good with it. When R-Truth then walks up and he starts being funny too, I go, okay, we're getting a little fucking silly now. They need to balance the silliness out a little bit. But R-Truth, again, he's just kind of misunderstanding like the Judgment Day stuff, and people will say things and he misunderstands or he messes who people, he conflates who people are and stuff like that, you know, messes names up and stuff like that. So it is what it is. It's kind of funny, but once you see this, it's so over the top. The R-Truth stuff is like, okay, come on, let's get some fucking serious, you know, some serious wrestling in this motherfucker. And then the show's mostly women and stuff like that, which isn't entirely a problem. But again, if people don't like this, I totally see why. I enjoy it, but I enjoy it in like the small doses we've been getting it. And I am itching to see the giant Danhausen and who the fuck it is eventually and where this is all leading to. Like if they're just doing dumb shit just for the sake of doing it and there's no real end game here, then yeah, you're getting a little too goofy for no payoff. But if there's a good payoff at the end of this, then all right, I'm locked in. I'm willing to go with it. But this SmackDown was, I don't know, man. The fucking crowd was super dead. And speaking of dead, this YouTube video, Jey Uso advanced in the King of the Ring tournament. And I actually really like the finish of this match now. This four-way got fucking boring. The women's four-way was boring. And it fucking was really, there was no chemistry. And Jade just really looked lost in a lot of the match. And we're going to get into why in a second. I didn't even realize this shit. I realized the one egregious part that we have clipped here, we have the clip of, but after I didn't realize the whole time she's like adjusting her hair and other people are adjusting her hair. We'll talk about that in a second. But the men's fatal 4-way, it just, again, it went too long and there's just like people like Solo comes out, then they cut to commercial and shit. It's just fucking, it was stupid. And the match was whatever. I mean, Keys is doing well for where he's at. The finish was good though. I did like the finish where what even happened essentially. So like Keys hits his fucking move, goes for the cover. And then Uso, like Jay timed it perfectly where he snuck in, hits the splash on Keys and the person he's covering, and then fucking gets the cover. 1, 2, 3. He like steals it, you know, and then gets out of dodge. That was an okay finish. But then the fans on YouTube. So when they're like, man, WWE's in the mud, you got to listen to the fans. They're making the wrong decision. Really? Because this is like the 100th fucking time now where Jey Uso's won a match and everybody just goes and dislikes it. He's just not allowed to win anymore. Like, that's all it is. He's not allowed to win a match or else people go and cry about it. And that's fucking fine. You know? But am I super pumped on him advancing? No, but I don't even really like this King of the Ring tournament at all, or Queen of the Ring at all. I think it's super fucking beyond mid. So pretty shitty, I guess, is what that means. No, it's mid. It's like they're delivering on matches. It's the King of the Ring. Like they're delivering as far as like they're establishing pecking order and stuff like that in some of these things. I get why they did the 4-ways because they don't want to just pin everyone, but it's like you got to fucking pin people. It's fucking wrestling. PWT 2K26 universe mode. People get pinned. Okay? And it's going to be Hulk Hogan versus Stone Cold at WWF WrestleMania 1 on twitch.tv/ProWrestleTimes. And I will be announcing the European Championship tournament. We have 16 competitors, the A block and the B block going down soon. And it's also, I re-upload the videos over on YouTube. So youtube.com/@ProWrestleTimes. If you guys want to watch some of my gaming 2K26 mode. But anyways, I digress. Let's move along. And then what else happened on SmackDown here? This was like the real takeaway. Was Jade's fucking wig kept falling off and it was distracting her. And this match was slop shop because of it. Honestly, this match sucked. And it was so fucking boring. You know, the women's tag, Paige and Brie, are doing fucking great work. You know what I like? Paige and Brie's tag title run. I think they've been fucking awesome together. Anyway.
Did you notice Jade Cargill's wig came off on SmackDown? During the Queen of the Ring qualifying match, Charlotte Flair went for a superplex on Jade Cargill. However, when they crashed to the mat, Charlotte's leg accidentally got caught on Jade's wig and pulled it right off. Thankfully, Jade quickly fixed it, kept her composure, and carried on with the match like nothing happened. What do you guys think?
But if you watch the match, the whole thing was pretty slop shop. Now, this is funny that her wig fell off.
Did you notice Jade Cargill's wig came off on SmackDown?
But to me, it looks like Charlotte ripped it off.
During the Queen of the Ring qualifying match, Charlotte Flair went for a...
Gotta blame Charlotte. Like, she ripped it off. I don't know if, you know, old girl had that fucking glue in there or... I don't know if that shit was sewn in, but Charlotte rips that
Flair
shit
went
off.
for a superplex on Jade Cargill. However, when they crashed to the mat, Charlotte's leg accidentally got caught on
So
Jade.
that sucks. She's like trying to wrestle. It's a fatal 4-way. It's already dumb because it's a 4-way and you got to remember all this stupid shit. She's already green. Now she's fumbling with her wig.
Wig and pulled it right off.
Now, this isn't me shitting on Jade. I'm saying this is unfortunate for her because she's been stepping it up lately.
Thankfully, Jade quickly fixed it, kept...
And then I don't even think Jade got the win. Who got the win in this again? I totally fucking forget who even won this match. Who the fuck won this match? God damn it. Chat will tell me. I'm pooping it out of my mind here. Flair. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And again, she kind of, oh yeah, she got the pin on Lyra, didn't she? So Lyra's just in there to eat the pin. Motherfuck, dude. So So, yeah, I mean, whatever. SmackDown's in a lull. You want to say something's in a lull, SmackDown for sure. Okay? Now we have some controversies to get into, I guess. Not everything's controversial, but John Cena was asked if he would return to the ring, and John Cena says it would be financial suicide if someone tried to court him for another wrestling match. And it's funny because you see a bunch of tardy dumb fucks online. Well, that's not what he said months ago when he fucking... Months ago,
You are a naive, brainless, pathetic, idiotic, clueless, dumbass Mark.
And it's like, okay, that's fine that he said that months ago, but now he's had months off and he might not want to ever wrestle again. Did you ever think about that? And he's just saying, like, if anybody wanted to court him for a match, including WWE, it would cost more money than you're probably willing to pay him for one night of work. And John Cena, with some sensibility here, he fears that bots could hijack fan voting for the John Cena Classic. And you know it will. And you know sickos will take great pride in, like, fucking with it. It's just a bad idea all around to have fans vote in anything. Unless it's the PWT poll. You guys voted in the poll here. Are you watching AEW Collision Summer Blockbuster? And overwhelmingly, 88% of you all said no. 13% said yes. So there you go. I'm sure more of you were watching AAA. And yeah, I mean, other than the PWT universe, I don't trust any fan base or anything not to get bought fucking hijacked. Just to fuck with people, you know, and at least he's conscious of that. And I don't think this was his idea. I think this was an idea that TKO told him to go out there and say, and he fucking said it. And he doesn't really get how it's going to work. And they're like, oh, it's fan interaction, but really it fucking ain't. So speaking of fan interaction, you know, Kathy Kelly went out and did an interview, and you know, she's friendly with the fans and she's friendly with the podcasters and the interviewers and whatnot. But she spoke about her best friends in the business. She listed Kevin Owens as one of them, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. And she also talked about Kevin Owens' family, I guess, a little bit, which I didn't even see what she said. But Kevin Owens' wife made an Instagram post tagging Kathy Kelly and says, as someone who actively tries to stay out of drama, when it comes to my child, I have to speak up. Recently, Kathy Kelly mentioned my son in an interview. Why she would choose to talk about someone else's child's medical history is beyond me. What she said isn't true. I do my best to keep my family private. As a protective mother, it really angers me when someone takes it upon themselves to talk about my children on a public platform without their consent. The fact I need to come out and clear this up is so ridiculous. And it's true. I'm actually with Kevin Owens' wife on this shit. But if she feels like she's friendly enough, then maybe it's just an honest mistake. And I'm sure she reached out privately to apologize and clear up the air, which again is something you handle privately, even though Kevin Owens' wife took it publicly. I'm actually just trying to pull up her quote here. I really want to know. So she said that her recent autism diagnosis, and shared that her colleague Kevin Owens, who she considers one of her best friends, has been super supportive and knowledgeable about her situation because of his son. So his son's autistic. And she's like, yeah, you know, because of his. So again, that's like a slip. That's like a slip of her just saying, like, you know, he understands what I'm going through because he has experience because of his son. So she's kind of like putting him over, but also by accident exposing something that maybe they've kept private and shit. So hopefully Kathy Kelly just apologizes privately. And then if Karina wants to take it publicly to say Kathy Kelly reached out and made it good, then she can. And if she doesn't, that's her prerogative. And Kathy Kelly shouldn't expect anything. She just apologized privately. You don't have to take anything publicly. And Humble Wrestling says, so Kevin Owens' wife was very angry at Kathy Kelly mentioning their son in a recent interview. Yeah, I mean, that's her kid. Mama Bear's going to fucking stand up for her baby there. So moving along here, Bryce Donovan on Jackson Drake and his WWE ID experience. So He flat out calls Jackson Drake a scumbag, and this isn't a kayfabe situation here.
Terrible, honestly. I think Jackson Drake's one of the worst human beings. I'm like not afraid to say that. I don't have to work with him anymore. That dude's a scumbag. He's an awful human. Ricky and Brad, they're fans, so like I don't blame them as much. They're following along. But Jackson is
Bryce was the best
wrestler.
Like Bryce was the best wrestler going into that program. He's the best wrestler coming out of the program.
There was good people there. I think Sean Waltman's awesome. Very thankful to him for all he helped me with. I think the people in it are legit evil human beings, and they're going to have to deal with that at some point. Jackson especially. So
maybe if he's working, then okay. But the way he's just like saying it with just very seriously, and
he knows he's lucky he's not on shows with me. Well, he's honest with that. So
Speaking
terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he really doesn't like that motherfucker. Maybe he thinks that's why he got released from the ID. He's saying they're evil human beings. He just said they're all evil human beings. I don't think you really say that. Is it a work or shoot, chat? Let me know. Speaking of work or shoot, CM Punk has been the center of controversy as of late. And Wrestle purists post this according to the Observer, that, again, for those of you who don't know, CM Punk had some planned time after WrestleMania, reported first by PWT. And then what happened was some random fucking mark on Twitter, who's a Tony Khan stan, just invented a rumor and said, rumor is CM Punk isn't returning to WWE, and he got mad at TKO, and they asked for him to take a pay cut, and he yelled at them and got mad, and then fucking he's not going to be back in WWE possibly, blah blah blah. And then all the dirt sheets scrambled to make a story out of fucking nothing. So the Observer wrote this, and Dave, it was hilarious, flutes in the chat for Dave because he's like, I won't even touch this story until Friday. And then he just comes with some bullshit and goes, well, I'm Brian, except it's like, except, it's like, actually, the plan right now is for, CM Punk to, it's like, when, return on SmackDown, which is basically a balancing act. So if he doesn't return to SmackDown, hilarious. Also, WWE on SmackDown, and this is why Dave is super redacted too. He might have seen them play that clip of Punk on SmackDown, and all they were playing was a clip showing you that they advertised Punk for the Fan Fest. WWE couldn't wait to just pwn that fucking rumor and this other rumor we're about to read that. Of course, Spurgy Fightful had to fucking come up with some bullshit. But CM Punk, man, they advertised him for the Fan Fest, and Dave might have seen that on SmackDown and then thought it means he's coming back to SmackDown, because Dave always extrapolates extra than is what's actually there, And he goes, the belief is that with Raw having Reigns, Rollins, the Usos, Fatu, Femi, Logan Paul, and Breakker, that Punk made more sense on SmackDown with a top tier of Rhodes, Gunther, Ripley, and soon to be Punk, Orton, and McIntyre, Brian. Plus, Rhodes versus Punk has been a direction. The fuck does that even mean, dude? But yeah, I mean, if he's on SmackDown, good. I just wish they would make it more like, I wish that WWE would start leaking to the dirt sheets fake news about, hey, Punk's Raw contract is up. No, yeah, seriously, we signed them to fucking Raw deals. Like, yeah, they're signed to WWE for X amount of years, but then for real, the talent are actually signing deals with Raw and SmackDown. Exclusivity, some of them and stuff. And then see if the dirt sheets bite on all that shit, and then you start pushing narratives and leaking out, well, Punk's contract with Raw's coming up, and so he could be... If they started doing that, it would create so much more interest in the Raw versus SmackDown dynamic. But, yeah, Dave, I mean, just guessing, I would say. But then Fightful writes this. There is a belief within AEW that CM Punk will rebuild the bridge with the company, even if he doesn't wrestle for them again. So out of nowhere, all of a fucking sudden,
He had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
Fightful's like, there's a belief that within AEW, Punk will rebuild the bridge. Now, Nicolo Piccolo quote tweeted this laughing, and he was like, they are desperate right now, and they are just trying to make it seem as though there's a possibility Punk could show up because they don't know what to do. This is how desperate AEW is. Now, we know this is coming from AEW because Fightful's flat out saying it, but also AEW rushes so that to tell Fightful that they have nothing to do with talent being pulled. They don't know what to do. They're lost without even a Punk. Again, Tone gets stuck in loops, and he doesn't understand how to book shit, and he doesn't understand how to get people excited for shit. So what does he do? Battle Royals, Casino Gauntlet, fucking $500,000 match, Anarchy in the Arena. We just saw one on Collision, even though they just did one at Double or Nothing. It's the same shit over and over again. So Punk got him $1 billion, or Zaslav called him $1 Bill Phil. He didn't get him $1 billion, pardon me. Called him $1 Bill Phil, and Punk got them a show called Collision, etc. And so Tony and them are looping. No, he'll leak it out there. He'll build a relationship, and they're like depending on Punk to draw for them again because this TV deal's gone. Sources said never say never when asked if Punk has burned his bridge with AEW. So what's going to happen? Punk is going to leave WWE to go back to AEW? Is that what all of a sudden now Fightful or anyone's insinuating? Like, what the fuck? You know? What is this even implying? I have no clue. So, Punk will be in WWE till the day he retires, and then he will be working in NXT and behind the scenes, and he will possibly take over for Shawn Michaels one day. Seth and Rhodes will take over the main roster and fill Triple H's shoes, and Punk will be down in NXT with Ace Steel and other guys. And it's just what it's going to be. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame. He's never going back to AEW. And it's funny because they're saying this when it's like, Nicolo Piccolo is mocking this and laughing at it. He would know, trust me. Just look up who he represents. So
He had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
And he would absolutely know. So Punk, the fact they even wrote this or anybody in AEW leaked this to Fightful, they're just desperate. They're just fucking desperate for anything, for any motion, and they can't make it happen with people. This is just, again, further proof. They can't make it happen with anybody in their company. They have to go outside to WWE and bring in WWE guys and tease WWE guys, or else nobody gives a fuck. Ospreay has to talk about WWE, or else nobody gives a fuck. Okay?
Oh, come on now, Eric.
MJF has to talk about WWE and how it's the shits, or else nobody cares. You guys seeing this pattern over and over? They have to fucking say, oh, Punk might come back, to add fuel to this fire. It's not even a fire. Just to add fuel to these bullshit rumors made up from some fucking mark. And that guy who made up that rumor he's a fucking Tony Khan stan, and he was just told to put that shit out there. That's all it is. It's not some grand conspiracy. There was no rumors. It was just somebody, that camp over there. They think they're going to make shit up about Punk and, get people hyped about him possibly going back to AEW. And maybe they'll regain some of the people the Young Bucks ran off. It's never going to happen, stupid idiots. There's a bunch of people, Tone and them got to understand this. There's a bunch of people who didn't even really like AEW. They just fucked with Punk and Joe and whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
And FTR kind of cool, but they didn't really fuck with AEW. And then Punk came back, so they're like, we fuck with this company. Like, Punk's there. It doesn't matter. His name was getting chanted at Feds and in WWE for years after he left, and the UFC brought him in. Like he's a name. So then once it's like, oh shit, Punk had to beat everyone up and then they ran him out of the company, all those people dipped out and started watching WWE again, and they will never fuck with AEW again. And they're just Punk fans, okay? So you got to understand. Speaking of people who will never come back again, breaking. Janelle Grant, Vince McMahon, and WWE jointly asked court to move sex trafficking lawsuit into private arbitration. So what does this mean?
Emotional damage.
Nope. It means Janelle Grant is going to settle for fucking money, all that virtue signaling, all this crying. We just really hope
It's like for dirtbags and lily pickers.
Bring justice, and I was victim, and I hope other people will speak up. And she's just going to settle for money, and if Vince just paid her $3 million like he promised, he could have shit on her head more and peed on her and whatever fucking sicko shit he was trying to do. But here's the thing, in a weird, dark, twisted way, thank fucking God that this happened, though, because I don't care what anyone says about Triple H's booking. I just don't think Vince, besides the bloodline, I don't know, man. And I guess Rhodes, man, he was the guy who brought Rhodes back in and was like, you're just going to be Cody Rhodes, what you are right now, your same music, everything. That was him who did that. So it was Hunter who did fucking Punk, though. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think Vince, he ain't coming back. We're about to check in with Teddy Long here. So I don't want his creative involved in any way, but she's just settling. And she jointly, along with WWE and Vince, asked court to move it to private arbitration. Right? And they're just going to all settle, and everything's just going to get settled. Like a bunch of people knew it would. And this was dragged out for no, and they're like, oh, like WWE's being sued for, oh, they tried to trick people to absorb WWE and all this stuff. It's like, okay, how about fucking this shit that happened to get Vince out of power? If anything, here's the real conspiracy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think WWE was down with all this too to get Vince out of the fucking way creatively and stuff. And there's tons of rumors of that. So either way, I'm not defending Vince or whatever, but at the end of the day, she accepted all of these gifts, all of this fucking money, the job title, all of this stuff. There's emails saying she was fucking homeless and a crackhead and all this shit. And all of a sudden she's siding with Vince and WWE to ask the court to move it to private arbitration in which she'll settle for an undisclosed amount. And then what? You know? So she was just talking shit pretty much is how I feel about it. And it's pending approval from the court. And it will likely soon move out of public. And I think there's a follow-up here. The defendants, McMahon and WWE, had long pushed to move the case in arbitration, citing the arbitration clause in the non-disclosure agreement Grant signed with McMahon in 2022. Judge Sarah F. Russell today granted the parties his joint motion. The judge is requiring them to file a joint status report by July 10. If they haven't reached an agreement by that date, they'll have a hearing in August. I interpret agreement here as referring to the conditions of moving into arbitration, not necessarily a settlement of the entire Grant versus WWE and Vince dispute itself. And this guy here says at DK, he goes, at the end of the day, this was about fulfilling a contract obligation. That's really what it is. Like if Vince just paid her $3 million, none of this would be going down. That's all it fucking is, man. Such a black eye. This is Vince's fault. And I don't care. You can not like Janelle Grant. You can be like, she was gold digging. You can be like, there was a consensual agreement and they fucking, you know, she sort of bailed on her end of the bargain. No, Vince bailed on his end. If he promised her the $3 million, then there's the $3. Fuck the other gifts and the Broadway tickets. You know, it's the $3 million. He should have gave it to her contractually, whatever the fuck. That's all, seemingly all she wanted. And then this never would have blown up the way it did. So, yeah, Vince just fucked everybody. But Teddy Long was telling TMZ's Inside the Ring that he thinks WWE should bring Vince McMahon back, playa, for a tag team match on SmackDown, playa.
Got a lot of talent out there now, you know, and some guys are doing great and some guys are not. And it's based on the creative people, the people that are in charge of what you do out on that TV. That's how your career, how your career is based. You can go out there and you can do something one night and it will kill you. That'll kill your whole career. And they know how to do that to people, you know. So a lot of guys that are in charge, they don't do it because you can do the job. They'll mess with you because they got the power. They know that they can. So, you know, it's changing a little bit now, but I think what we got to do, we got to get Vince back, you know, so we can do this thing right and, you know, and get the fans back on board, man. So
the fans are on board. I don't know what everybody's talking about. It's fucking nuts.
Like I said, my legacy is just thank God for everything I've done. And I hope I can give some advice and pass some knowledge along to some of the young guys that are trying to break in. I hope I can help them, you know, to be successful.
You said no, bring Vince back, and that's a lot of people have been vocal about that, saying, you know, if we had Vince back, the things might be a little different. Do you think that there's a chance that
the creative would be shit, pun intended?
He may come back some way or another one day, or is the chapter closed on him?
I don't think the chapter is ever closed with him. I think Vince, you know, the way
Vince, if he does come back, it should be for a storyline where he's trying to usurp the power from Triple H and shit, and then you get some on-screen moments, blah, blah, blah. You could do something like that, but it only creatively. And that's why they keep Shane far away. It's not that they don't love Shane or whatever, but if he gets backstage even creatively, he's going to start politicking and, you know, so even if it's like, well, you come in for a match, you're a manager, they put you through a table, it leads to this. He's going to start trying to pitch things and blah, blah, blah. They just don't want to deal with it. So with Vince, it would be the same thing. He would start like calling shots and then it would be awkward. And Triple H would have to be like, Vince, you're not the boss or whatever. You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what happened or any of that stuff, but, you know, to me, you know, and by knowing him, this was his life. He loved this. This was his life. I had a chance to ride on the plane with him, and one night I was on the plane, and as soon as we took off, he talked about wrestling until we landed.
Wow.
So and so, you know, he loves this. This is his life, and
Vince was one of the boys, and one thing I love about the Clique is they all tell stories about how, you know, they just were interested in the show and they'd go back to the hotel and they'd watch the fucking show and think, here's what we could do better. Here's what this guy could do. Here's what that guy could do. And so Vince is one of the fucking boys through and through. I don't think, I mean, very brave of Teddy Long to get on that plane with Vince. I don't think bringing him back would be good creatively. I just don't. And you could argue, well, is it going in the right direction? Like, I don't know. Maybe it was going in a better direction before, but also don't forget you had Monet walking out and big names getting fired. Like, I don't know if Vince handled the fucking TKO cuts as well as Triple H. You know, like Triple H cuts R-Truth after fucking pinning him on Cena's farewell tour. You could not have had a better send-off, and then the fans cry, so he brings him back. But for some of these people that have gotten released, it's like their stories get cut off out of nowhere, whatever. I mean, Vince was doing that as well. It just depends. And you could make the argument that everything that culminated at 40 was all things Vince put into motion. But I just don't like, the older Vince gets, the less competent he is, and this is what it mostly is. There runs the risk of another situation happening on a fucking plane where some lady sues him for the $3 million he won't give her. You know what I'm saying? It just opens that door up to let that happen again. And also there's some heat there that goes beyond just Triple H and them. And again, it was because he's involved in sicko shit. And Vince was so vocal backstage and harsh on Triple H and a bunch of people who now run shit there about the UK scene being so riddled with sickos during the fucking speaking out movement. And Triple H really got punished for that. And then when Vince fucked up, or whatever you want to say. Janelle Grant exposed him, however you want to phrase it. There was heat there because Triple H was like, what the fuck? Like, you actually are doing sicko shit. You were super harsh on me for shit I wasn't even doing. This is just people we worked with. Like, so at least that's the rumors and innuendo. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was WWE news. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was PWT live show. I want to thank you all for coming out this Saturday. Round of applause. Make sure you guys hit like and all that good shit. Check out patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. Check out my new podcast if you like MMA and shit. And I hope you guys enjoy UFC Freedom 250 tomorrow. Don't be so uppity about it. Watch the shit. I appreciate it. Round of applause for the PWT. Universe. New York Knicks is NBA champions. I've been Phil S. Marks. I appreciate you all. And I will see you guys for Memba Monday on Tuesday, because again, I got some shit to do on Monday. So I'll see you guys Tuesday, hopefully, if I'm feeling it, if my mouth's all fucking good and whatnot. And yeah, and then just back to normal. We're going to have a big weekend coming up too, the 27th and 28th. I appreciate you all. You're all goated. Go get some rest. Peace.
Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup, best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup, living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right. Never see him back hard, no way. Got the whole roster locked in for the day. A Crimson Tower, modern art. Triple cup. Triple cup. Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup. Best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup. Living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right. Never see him back hard, no way. Got the whole